Instant Shakespeare Company. We're now streaming live on YouTube. And today, instead of reading some Shakespeare, we're doing The Knight of the Burning Pestle, which is a play by Francis Beaumont, which in a lot of ways is seen as like maybe the first sort of English stage satire. And it's fun because you sort of have the audience interfering with the show. So anyways, I just want to my name's Paul Sugarman. I'm the founder of the Instant Shakespeare Company, and I'll be reading Michael Merrythorpe and the Dwarf, also known as George, and a man and a boy, a second boy. And so I just want to introduce each of you so that you can just say what role you're doing. And then I don't know if David wants to say anything more before we start, and then we can just dive in.
Well, I
So
will say that I think we'll take our intermission a little on the early side, which is after Act 2, because I can't quite figure out where else to break it. And once the action gets revved up, you know.
great. Okay. And so we have Michael.
Michael Berkowitz playing the rich merchant.
Right.
And my mother little heart, don't forget.
Oh, and 3 lines of the tapster. If I'm speaking Cockney, I'm someone else. Ignore me.
And Asher.
Yes. Host and the host and the barber and a servant and a soldier.
All right. And Sean.
Sean, I'm Jasper, the apprentice.
And Taylor.
I'm Taylor. I am Luce, the merchant's daughter and woman on pages 85 through 88.
And Lawrence.
Hi, I'm doing Old Merrythorpe, and also Hammerton or Hammertoe or whoever he is on page 124.
One line, I do believe.
And Vicky. Vicky, can you hear me?
Mrs. Merrythorpe and Green Goose. Hi.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Green, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And
Mrs. Merrythorpe and Green Goose.
thank you. Stephen?
I'm Humphrey, and the second knight, or as it says in the script, I'm using the second man. And Mr. Beaumont only wrote half the play. Mr. Fletcher wrote the other half.
Well, that is an issue of some dispute, actually. Some people, it was credited originally, collected in the collected works of Beaumont and Fletcher, but I think most scholars, I don't know, I have no opinion on this, believe it was Beaumont. But anyways, that's a discussion we can have afterwards. And Anna?
No sound.
Anna, are you there? Uh-oh, where's Anna?
She's there, but...
Yeah, and you don't look muted, but I can see your lips moving, but I'm not hearing you, Anna.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Sorry, got pulled out. I needed water. What do you want? I'm reading the prologue, all boy lines except for the second boy, a lady, Tim the squire, first knight, and second soldier. Thank you.
Thanks. Paula?
I'm reading Nell, and that is the citizen's wife.
And David?
I'm reading George, and that is the citizen.
And Alex?
I'm Alex, and I'll be reading Wraith.
All right, and I believe that is everyone. And so we'll dive into The Knight of the Burning Pestle by Francis Beaumont and possibly John Fletcher. Just a reminder we just sort of mute ourselves and stop our video when we're not in the scene, and enjoy, except for the fact that our audience members, who are the citizen and his wife, will sort of be there throughout. So anyways, Knight of the Burning Pestle.
We start with page 2 on the prologue, on page 2, Anna.
Do I start with the gentleman? I start reading the gentleman to the readers of this comedy. I'm sorry, I thought it was the next page. I'm so sorry. So do you want me to start reading from to the readers of this comedy? I thought someone else read the first part. I'm sorry. It's going awfully well.
I'll do that just so we can.
I'm sorry.
To the readers of this comedy, gentlemen, the world is so nice in these our times that for apparel there is no fashion. For music, which is rare art, though now slighted, no instrument. For diet, none but the French kickshaws that are delicate. And for plays, no invention but that which now runneth an invective way, touching some particular persons, or else it is contemned before it is thoroughly understood. That is all that I have to say, that the author had no intent to wrong anyone in this comedy, but as a merry passage here and there interlaced it with delight, and he hopes it will please all and be hurtful to none.
Where the bee can suck no honey, she leaves her sting behind. And where the bear cannot find origanum to heal his grief, he blasteth all other leaves with his breath. We fear it is like to fare so with us, that seeing you cannot draw from our labor's sweet content, you leave behind you a sour mislike, and with open reproach blame our good meaning, because you cannot reap the wonted mirth. Our intent was at this time to move inward delight, not outward lightness, and to breed, if it might be, soft smiling, not loud laughing, knowing it to the wise to be a great pleasure to hear counsel mixed with wit, as to the foolish to have sport mingled with rudeness. They were banished the theater of Athens, and from Rome hissed, that brought parasites, or parasites, on the stage with apish actions, or fools with uncivil habits, or courtesans with immodest words. We have endeavored to be as far from unseemly speeches, to make your ears glow, as we hope you will be free from unkind reports, or mistaking the author's intention, who never aimed at any one particular in this play, to make our cheeks blush. And thus I leave it, and thee to thine own censure, to like or dislike. From all that's near the court, from all that's great within the compass of the city walls, we now have brought our scene.
Hold your peace, good man, boy.
What do you mean, sir?
That you have no good meaning. These 7 years there have been plays at this house. I have observed it. You have still girds at citizens, and now you call your play The London Merchant. Down with your title, boy. Down with your title.
Are you a member of the noble city?
I am.
And a free man?
Yea, and a grocer.
So, grocer, then by your sweet favor, we intend no abuse to the city.
No, sir. Yes, sir. If you were not resolved to play the jacks, what need you study for new subjects? Purposely to abuse your betters? Why could you not be contented, as well as others, with the Legend of Whittington, or the Life and Death of Sir Thomas Gresham, with the building of the Royal Exchange, or the story of Queen Eleanor, with the rearing of London Bridge upon woolsacks?
You seem to be an understanding man. What would you have us do, sir?
Why, present something notable in honor of the commons of the city.
Why, what do you say to the life and death of Fat Drake, or the repairing of fleet privies?
I do not like that, but I will have a citizen, and he shall be of my own trade.
Oh, you should have told us your mind a month since. Our play is ready to begin now.
'Tis all one for that. I will have a grocer, and he shall do admirable things.
What will you have him do?
Mary, I will have him...
Husband!
Peace, mistress!
Hold thy peace, Rafe. I know what I do, I warrant ye. Husband! Husband!
What sayest thou, Connie?
Let him kill a lion with a pestle, husband. Let him kill a lion with a pestle.
So he shall. I'll have him kill a lion with a pestle.
Husband, shall I come up, husband?
Aye, Connie. Rafe, help your mistress this way. Pray, gentlemen, make her a little room. I pray you, sir, lend me your hand to help up my wife. I thank you, sir. So,
By your leave, gentlemen all, I'm something troublesome. I'm a stranger here. I was near one of these plays, as they say, before, but I should have seen Jane Shore once. And my husband had promised me any time this 12-month to carry me to the bold Beechams. But in truth, he did not. I pray you bear with me.
Boy, let my wife and I have a couple of stools, and then begin. And let the grocer do rare things.
But, sir, we have never a boy to play him. Everyone hath a part already.
Oh, husband, for God's sake, let Rafe play him. Beshrew me if I do not think he will go beyond them all.
Well remembered, wife. Come up, Rafe. I'll tell you, gentlemen, let them but lend him a suit of apparel and necessaries, and by God, if any of them all blow wind of the tail on him, I'll be hanged.
Oh, I pray you, youth, let him have a suit of apparel. I'll be sworn, gentlemen, my husband tells you true. He will act you sometimes at our house that all the neighbours cry out on him. He will fetch you up a couraging part so in the garret that we all are as feared, I warrant you, that we quake again. We'll fear our children with him, if they be never so unruly. Do but cry, Rafe comes to them, and they'll be as quiet as lambs. Hold up thy head, Rafe. Show the gentleman what thou canst do. Speak a huffing part, I warrant you. The gentleman will accept of it.
Do, Rafe, do.
By heaven, methinks it were an easy leap to pluck bright honor from the pale-faced moon, or dive into the bottom of the sea, where never fathom line touched any ground, and pluck up drowned otter from the lake of hell.
How say you, gentlemen? Is it not as I told you?
Nay, gentlemen, he hath played before, my husband says, Musidorus, before the wardens of our company.
Aye, and he should have played Geronimo with a shoemaker for a wager.
He shall have a suit of apparel, if he will go in.
In Rafe, and set out the grocery in their kind, if thou lovest me.
I warrant our Rafe will look finely when he's dressed.
But what will you have it called?
The grocer's honor.
Methinks the Knight of the Burning Pestle were better.
I'll be sworn, husband, that's as good a name as can be.
Let it be so. Begin. My wife and I will sit down.
I pray you do.
What stately music have you? You have Sean's?
Sean's? No.
No? I'm a thief if my mind did not give me so. Rafe plays a stately part, and he must needs have Sean's. I'll be at the charge of them myself, rather than will be without them.
So you are like to be.
Why, and so I will be. There's 2 shillings. Let's have the waits of Southwark. They are as rare fellows as any are in England, and that will fetch them all o'er the water with a vengeance, as if they were mad.
You shall have them. Will you sit down then?
Aye, come, wife.
Sit you merry all, gentlemen. I'm bold to sit amongst you for my ease.
From all that's near the court, from all that's great within the compass of the city walls, we now have brought our scene. Fly far from hence all private taxes, immodest phrases, whate'er may but show like vicious, for wicked mirth never true pleasure brings, but honest minds are pleased with honest things. Thus much for that we do, but for Rafe's part, you must answer for yourself.
Take you no care for Rafe, he'll discharge himself, I warrant you.
Faith, gentlemen, I'll give my word for Rafe.
Sirrah, I'll make you know you are my prentice, and whom my charitable love redeemed even from the fall of fortune, gave thee heat and growth to be what now thou art, new cast thee, adding the trust of all I have at home in foreign staples or upon the sea to thy direction. To thee the good opinions of both myself and friends to thy endeavours, so fair were thy beginnings. But with these, as I remember, you had never charge to love your master's daughter. And even then, when I found a wealthy husband for her, I take it, sir, you had not. But however, I'll break the neck of that commission and make you know you are but a merchant's factor.
Oh, sir, I do liberally confess I am yours, bound both by love and duty to your service, in which my labor hath been all my profit. I have not lost in bargain, nor delighted to wear your honest gains upon my back, nor have I given a pension to my blood, or lavishly in play consumed your stock. These, and the miseries that do attend them, I dare with innocence proclaim are strangers to all my temperate actions. For your daughter, if there be any love to my deservings borne by her virtuous self, I cannot stop it, nor am I able to refer her wishes. She's private to herself, and best of knowledge whom she'll make so happy as to sigh for. Besides, I cannot think you mean to match her unto a fellow of so lame a presence, one that hath little left of nature in him.
'Tis very well. Sir, I can tell your wisdom how all this shall be cured.
Your care becomes you.
And thus it shall be. Sir, I here discharge you. My house and service take your liberty, and when I want a son, I'll send for you.
These be the fair rewards of them that love. Oh, you that live in freedom, never prove the travel of a mind led by desire.
Why, how now, friend? Struck with my father's thunder?
Struck, and struck dead, unless the remedy be full of speed and virtue. I am now what I expected long, no more your father's.
But mine.
Oh, but yours, and only yours I am. That's all I have to keep me from the statute. You dare be constant still?
Oh, fear me not. In this I dare be better than a woman. Nor shall his anger nor his offers move me. Were they both equal to a prince's power?
Oh, you know my rival.
Yes, and love him dearly, even as I love an ague or foul weather. I prithee, Jasper, fear him not.
Oh, no, I do not mean to do him so much kindness. But to our own desires, you know the plot we both agreed on.
Yes, and will perform my part exactly.
Oh, I desire no more. Farewell, and keep my heart. 'Tis yours.
I take it. He must do miracles, makes me forsake it.
Fie upon them little infidels. What a matter's here now? But I'll be hanged for half a halfpenny if there be not some abomination knavery in this play. Well, let him look to it. Rafe must come, and if there be any tricks a brewing...
Let 'em brew and bake too, husband, in God's name. Rafe will find out all, I warrant you, and they were older than they are. I pray, my pretty youth, is Rafe ready?
You will be presently.
Now, I pray you, make my commendations unto him, and withal, carry him this stick of licorice. Tell him his mistress sent it him, and bid him bite a piece. 'Twill open his pipes the better, say.
Come, sir, she's yours. Upon my faith, she's yours. You have my hand. For other idolets between your hopes and her, thus they are scattered with the wind and no more. My wanton prentice, that like a bladder blew himself with love, I have let out and sent him to discover new masters yet unknown.
I thank you, sir. Indeed, I thank you, sir. And ere I stir, it shall be known, however, you do deem I am of gentle blood and gentle seam.
Oh, sir, I know certain.
Yes, sir, my friend, although, as writers say, all things have end, and that we call a pudding hath its too. Oh, let it not seem strange, I praise to you, if in this bloody simile I put my love, more endless than the frail things or gut.
Husband, I prithee, sweet lamb, tell me one thing, but tell me truly. Stay use, I beseech you, till I question my husband.
What is it, Mouse?
Sirrah, did you ever see a prettier child? How it behaves itself, I warrant ye, and speaks and looks and perks up the head. I pray you, brother, with your favour, were you never none of Mr. Muncaster's scholars?
Chicken, I prithee, heartily, contain thyself. The children are pretty children, but when Rafe comes...
Oh, aye, when Rafe comes, Coney. Well, my youth, you may proceed.
Well, sir, you know my love, and rest, I hope, assured of my consent. Get back my daughters, and wed her when you please. You must be bold, and clap in close unto her. Come, I know you have language good enough to win a wench.
A whoresome tyrant hath been an old stringer in his days, I warrant him.
I take your gentle offer, and withal yield love again for love reciprocal.
What? Loose! Within there.
Calls you, sir.
I did give entertainment to this gentleman, and see you be not froward. To her, sir, my presence will but be an eyesore to you.
Fair Mistress Luce, how do you? Are you well? Give me your hand. And that I pray you tell, how doth your little sister and your brother, and whether you love me or any other?
Sir, these are quickly answered.
So they are, when women are not cruel. But how far is it now distant from the place we are in unto that blessed place, your father's warren?
And what makes you think of that, sir?
Even that face for stealing rabbits, while that in that place God, Cupid, or the keeper, I know not whether, unto my cost and charges brought you thither, and there began
your game, sir.
Let no game or anything that tendeth to the same be evermore remembered, thou fair killer, for whom I sate me down and break my tiller.
Oh, there's a kind gentleman, I warrant you. When will you do as much for me, George?
Beshrew me, sir, I am sorry for your losses. But as the proverb says, I cannot cry. I would you had not seen me.
And so would I, unless you had more to do me good.
Oh, I cannot this strange passion be withstood. Send for a constable and raise the town.
Oh no, my valiant love will batter down millions of constables and puts to flight even that great watch of midsummer day at night.
Ye shrew me, sir, 'twere good I yielded then. Weak women cannot hope where valiant men have no resistance.
Yield then. I am full of pity, though I say it, and can pull out of my pocket thus a pair of gloves. Look, Luce, look. A dog's tooth, nor the doves are not so white as these, and sweet they be, and whipped about with silk, as you may see. If you desire the price, shoot from your eye a beam to this place, and you shall espy F.S., which is to say, my sweetest honey, they cost me 3 and 2pence, or no money.
Well, sir, I take them kindly, and I thank you. What would you more?
Nothing.
Why then, farewell.
No, so. For, lady, I must tell before we part, for what we met together. God grant me time and patience and fair weather.
Speak and declare your mind in terms so brief.
I shall. Then, first and foremost, for relief I call to you, if that you can afford it, I care not at what price, for on my word it shall be repaid again, although it cost me more than I'll speak of now, for love hath tossed me in furious blanket like a tennis ball, and now I rise aloft, now I fall.
Alas, good gentleman, alas the day.
I thank you heartily, and as I say, thus do I still continue without rest. I, the morning like a man, at night the beast, roaring and bellowing mine own disquiet, that much I fear, a forsaking of my diet, will bring me presently to that quandary. I shall bid all adieu.
Now by Saint Mary, that were great pity.
So it were, beshrew me. Then ease me, lusty loose, and pity show me.
Why, sir, you know my will is nothing worth without my father's grant. Get his consent, and then you may with insurance try me.
The worshipful your sire will not deny me, for I have asked him, and he hath replied, Sweet Master Humphrey, loose shall be thy bride.
Sweet Master Humphrey, then I am content.
And so am I, in truth.
Yet take me with you. There is another clause must be annexed, and this is it I swore, and will perform it. No man shall ever join me as his wife, but he that stole me hence.
Huh?
If you dare venture, I am yours. You need not fear. My father loves you. If not, farewell forever.
Stay, nymph, stay! I have a double gelding coloured hay sprung by his father from barbarian kind, another for myself, though somewhat blind, yet true and trusty tree.
I am satisfied, and so I give my hand. Our course must lie through Waltham Forest, where I have a friend will entertain us. So farewell, Sir Humphrey, and think upon your business.
Though I die, I am resolved to venture a life and a limb for one so young, so fair, so kind, so trim.
By my faith and troth, George, and as I am virtuous, it is Ian, the kindest young man that ever trod on shoe leather. Well, go thy ways. If thou hast her not, 'tis not thy fault, if
I prithee, mouse, be patient. I shall have her, or I'll make some of them smoke for it.
That's my good lamb, George. Fie, this stinking tobacco kills men. Would there were none in England. Now, I pray, gentlemen, what good does this stinking tobacco do you? Nothing. I warrant you make chimneys of your faces. Oh, husband, husband. Now, there's Rafe.
Peace, fool, let Rafe alone. Hark you, Rafe. Do not strain yourself too much at the first. Peace. Begin, Rafe.
Then Palmerin and Trinius, snatching their lances from their dwarfs and clasping their helmets, galloped amain after the giant. And Palmerin, having gotten sight of him, came posting amain, saying, Stay, traitorous thief, for thou mayst not so carry away her that is worth the greatest lord in the world. And with these words, gave him a blow on the shoulder that struck him beside his elephant. And Trinius, coming to the knight that had Agricola behind him, set him soon besides his horse, with his neck broken in the fall. So that the princess, getting out of the throng between joy and grief, said, O happy night, the mirror of all such as follow arms, now may I be well assured of the love thou bearest me. I wonder why the kings do not raise an army of 14, of 50, and 100,000 men, as big as the army that the Prince of Portugal brought against Rossicler, and destroy these giants. They do much hurt to wandering damsels that go in quest of their knights.
Oh, faith, husband, and Rafe says true, for they say the King of Portugal cannot sit at his meat, but the giants and the Etines come and snatch it from him.
Hold thy tongue. On, Rafe.
And certainly those knights are much to be commended, who, neglecting their possessions, wander with a squire and a dwarf through the deserts to relieve poor ladies.
Oh, by my faith, are they, Rafe? Let them say what they will. They are indeed. Our knights neglect their possessions well enough, but they do not the rest.
They are no such courteous and fair, well-spoken knights in this age. They will call one the son of a whore that Palmerin of England would have called fair sir, and one that Rossicler would have called right beauteous damsel, they will call damned bitch.
I'll be sworn, will they, Rafe? They have called me so 100 times about a scurvy pipe of tobacco.
But what brave spirit could be content to sit in his shop with a flappet of wood and a blue apron before him selling methridatum and dragon's water to visited houses that might pursue feats of arms, and through his noble achievements procure such a famous history to be written of his heroic prowess?
Well said, Rafe. Some more of those words, Rafe.
Oh, they go finely, by my troth.
Why should not I then pursue this course, both for the credit of myself and our company? For amongst all the worthy books of achievements, I do not call to mind that yet I read of a grocer errant. I will be the said knight. Have you heard of any that hath wandered unfurnished of his squire and dwarf? My elder prentice Tim shall be my trusty squire, and little George my dwarf. Hence my blue apron. Yet, in remembrance of my former trade, upon my shield shall be portrayed a burning pestle, and I will be called the Knight of the Burning Pestle.
Nay, I dare sway thou wilt not forget thy old trade, thou wert ever meek.
Tim? Tim!
Anon.
Ah, my beloved squire, and George my dwarf, I charge you that you from henceforth you never call me by any other name but the right, courteous, and valiant Knight of the Burning Pestle, and that you never call any female by the name of woman or wench, but fair lady, if she have her desires, if not, distressed damsel. That you call all forests and heaths deserts, and all horses palfreys.
This is very fine. Faith, do the gentlemen like Rafe, think you, husband?
I warrant thee, the players would give all their shoes in the shop for him.
My beloved Squire Tim, stand out. Admit this were a desert, and over it a knight errant pricking, and I should bid you inquire of his intents. What would you say?
Sir, my master sent me to know whither you are riding.
No, thus, fair sir, the right courteous and valiant Knight of the Burning Pestle commended me to inquire upon what adventure you are bound, whether to relieve some distressed damsel or otherwise.
Horse and blockhead cannot remember.
Faith, and Rafe told him on't before. All the gentlemen heard him. Did he not, gentlemen? Did not Rafe tell him on't?
Right courteous and valiant Knight of the Burning Pestle, here is a distressed damsel to have a halfpenny worth of pepper.
Oh, that's a good boy. See, the little boy can hit it. By my troth, it's a fine child.
Relieve her with all courteous language. Now, shut up shop, no more, my prentice. But, my trusty squire and dwarf, I must bespeak my shield and arming pestle.
Go thy ways, Rafe. As I am a true man, thou art the best of them all.
Rafe, Rafe!
What say you, mistress?
I prithee, come again quickly, sweet Rafe.
By and by.
Give thee my blessing. No, I'll never give thee my blessing. I'll see thee hang first. It shall ne'er be said I gave thee my blessing. Thou art thy father's own son, of the right blood, of the merry thoughts. I may curse the time that ere I knew thy father, he have spent all his own and mine too. And when I tell him of it, he laughs and dances and sings and cries. A merry heart lives a long a. Thou art a wasp thrift, and art run away from thy master, and loved thee well, and art come to me, and I have laid up a little for my youngest son, Michael, and thou thinkst to be so that, but thou shalt never be able to do it. Come hither, Michael, come, Michael, down on thy knees, thou shalt have my blessing.
Oh, I pray you, mother, pray to God to bless me.
God bless thee, but Jasper shall never have my blessing. He shall be hanged first, shall he not, Michael? How sayest thou?
Yes, forsooth, mother, and grace of God.
It's a good boy.
Faith, it's a fine-spoken child.
Mother, though you forget a parent's love, I must preserve the duty of a child. I ran not from my master, nor returned to have your stock maintain my idleness.
Gracious child, I warrant him. Hark how he chops logic with his mother. Now it's best tell her she lies. Do tell her she lies.
If he were my son, I would hang him up by the heels and flea him insulted. Horse and altar sack.
My coming only is to beg your love, which I must ever, though I never gain it. And however so you esteem me, there is no drop of blood hid in these veins, but I remember well belongs to you, that brought me forth, and would be glad for you to rip them all again and let it out.
Our faith I'd sorrow enough for thee, God knows, but I'll amper thee well enough. Get thee in, thou vagabond, get thee in and learn of thy brother Michael.
Methinks old Mary thought should be here.
Nose, jolly red nose. And who gave thee this jolly red nose?
Hark me, husband, he's singing and oiting, and I'm fain to cark and care, and all little enough. Husband Charles Merrythought.
Nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon, and cloves, and they gave me this jolly red nose.
If you would consider your state, you would have little list to sing, Iris.
It should never be considered, while it were an estate, if I thought it would spoil my singing.
But how wilt thou do, Charles? Thou art an old man, and thou canst not work, and thou hast 40 shillings left, and thou eatest good meat, and drinkest good drink, and laughest?
And will do.
But how wilt thou come by it, Charles?
How? Why, how have I done hitherto these 40 years? And I never came into my dining room but at 11 and 6 o'clock. I found excellent meat and drink at the table. My clothes were never worn out, but next morning the tailor brought me a new suit. And without question, it will be so ever. Use makes perfectness. If all should fail, it is but a little straining myself extraordinary, and I'll laugh myself to death.
It's a foolish old man, this is not he, George?
Yes, Cuddy.
Oh, give me a penny of the purse while I live, George.
Aye, my lady, Cuddy. Hold thee there.
Well, Charles, you promised to provide for Jasper, and I've laid up for Michael. I pray you pay Jasper his portion. He's come home, and he shall not consume Michael's stock. He says his master turned him away, but I promise you truly, I ran away.
Oh, no, indeed, Mistress Merrythought, though he be a notable gallows, yet I assure you, his master did turn him away, even in this place. 'Twas i' faith within this half an hour, about his daughter my husband was by.
Hang him, rogue, he served him well enough. Love his master's daughter. By my truth, Gunny, if there were 1,000 boys, thou wouldst spoil them all with taking their parts. Let his mother alone with him.
Aye, George, but yet a truth is a truth.
Jasper, he's welcome, however, call him in. He shall have his portion. Is he merry?
Foul chive him, he's too merry. Jasper, Michael!
Welcome, Jasper. Though thou runnest away, welcome. God bless thee. 'Tis thy mother's mind thou shouldst receive thy portion. Thou hast been abroad, and I hope hast learned experience enough to govern it. Thou art of sufficient years. Hold my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is 12 shillings for thee. Thrust thyself into the world with that, and take some settled course. If fortune come across thee, thou hast a retiring place. Come home to me. I have 20 shillings left. Be a good husband, that is, wear ordinary clothes, eat the best meat, and drink the best drink. Be merry and give to the poor, and believe me, thou hast no end of thy goods.
Long may you live free from all thought of ill, and long have cause to be thus merry still. But father.
No more words, Jasper, get thee gone. Thou hast my blessing, thy father's spirit upon thee. Farewell, Jasper, but yet, ere you part, cruel, kiss me, sweeting, mine own dear jewel. So, now be gone, no words.
So, Michael, now get thee gone too.
Yes, forsooth, mother, but I'll have my father's blessing first.
No, Michael, 'tis no matter for his blessing. Thou hast my blessing. Be gone. I fetch my money and jewels and follow thee. I'll stay no longer with him, I warrant thee. Truly, Charles, I'll be gone too.
Will you not?
Yes, indeed I will.
Hey ho, farewell, Nan. I'll never trust wench more again if I can.
You shall not think when all your own is gone to spend that I've been scraping up for miles.
Farewell, good wife, I expected not. All I have to do in this world is to be merry, which I shall if the ground be not taken from me, and if it be, when earth and seas from me are reft, the skies aloft for me are left.
I'll be sworn, he's a merry old gentleman for all that. Hark, hark, husband, hark! Fiddles, fiddles! Oh, now surely they go finely. They say 'tis present death for these fiddlers to tune their rebecks before the great Turk's grace, is not, George? But look, oh, look! Here's a youth dances. Now, good youth, do a turn of the toe, sweetheart. If faith, I'll have Rafe come and do some of his gambols. Oh, he'll ride the wild mare, gentlemen. 'Twould do your hearts good to see him. I thank you, kind youth. Pray bid Rafe come.
Scotty, Sirrah, you scurvy boy, bid these players send Rafe. By the gods, and they do not, I'll tear some of their periwigs beside their heads. This is all riffraff.
And how, Faith? How goes it now, son Humphrey?
Right worshipful, and my beloved friend and father dear, this matter's at an end.
'Tis well, it should be so. I'm glad the girl is found so tractable.
Nay, she must whirl from hence, and you must wink, for so I say the story tells. Tomorrow before day.
George, dost thou think in thy conscience now 'twill be a match? Tell me but what thou think'st, sweet rogue. Thou seest the poor gentleman, dear heart, how it labours and throbs, I warrant you, to be at rest. I'll go move the father for it.
No, I prithee, sit still, honeysuckle. Thou'lt spoil all. If he deny him, I'll bring half a dozen good fellows myself, and in the shutting of an evening's knocked up, and there's an end.
Oh, I'll bust thee for that, i' faith, boy. Well, George, well, you have been a wag in your days, I warrant you, but God forgive you, and I do with all my heart.
How was it, son? You told me that tomorrow before daybreak you must convey her hence?
I must. And thus it is agreed your daughter rides on a brown bay steed, I on a sorrel which I bought of Brian, the honest host of the Red Roaring Lion in Waltham Situate. Then, if you may consent in seemly sort, lest by delay the fatal sisters come and do the office, and then you'll sing another song.
Alas, why should you be thus full of grief to me that do as willing as yourself agree to anything so it be good and fair? Then steal her when you will, if such pleasure content you both. I'll sleep and never see it, to make your joys more full. But tell me, why you may not here perform your marriage.
God's blessing in thy soul, old man, if faith thou art loath to part true hearts. I see a hazard, George, and I'm as glad on't. Well, go thy ways, Humphrey, for a fair-spoken man. I believe thou hast not thy fellow within the walls of London, and I should say the suburbs too, I should not lie. Oh, why dost thou not rejoice with me, George?
If I could see but Rafe again, I were as merry as mine host, i' faith.
The cause you seem to ask, I thus declare, help me, O Muses nine. Your daughters swear a foolish oath, and more it was the pity, yet no one but myself within the city shall dare to say so, but a bold defiance shall meet him, were he of the noble science. And yet she swear, and yet why did she swear? Truly I cannot tell, unless it were for her own ease. For sure, sometimes an oath being sworn thereafter is like a cordial broth. This it was she swore, never to marry, but such a one whose mighty arm could tarry, as meaning me, for I am such a one, her bodily away through stick and stone, till both of us arrive at her request some 10 mile off in wild Waltham Forest.
If this be all, you shall not need to fear any denial in your love. Proceed. I'll neither follow nor repent the deed.
Good night, 20 good night, and 20 more, and that makes 80.
Come, Michael, and thou art weary, boy.
Oh, no, forsooth, mother, not I.
Where be me now, child?
Indeed, forsooth, mother, I cannot tell, unless we be at Mile End. Is not all the world Mile End, mother?
No, Michael, not all the world, boy, but I can assure you, Michael, Mile End is a goodly matter. There's been a field mile between the naughty Spaniels and the Englishmen. And the Spaniels ran away, Michael, and the Englishmen followed my neighbor. Coxcomb was there, boy, and killed them all with a burning piece.
Oh, mother, forsooth.
What says my boy?
Shall not my father go with us too?
No, Michael, let thy father go snick up. He shall never between the pet sheets with me again while he lives. And stay at home and for a supper, boy. Come, child, sit down, and I'll show my boy fine knacks indeed. Look here, Michael. Here's a ring, and here's a brooch, here's a biscuit, and here's 2 rings more, and here's money and gold by the eye, my boy.
Shall I have all this, mother?
Aye, Michael, thou shalt have all, Michael.
How likest thou this?
Aye, Michael, thou shalt have all, Michael.
How likest thou this wench?
Oh, I would have Rafe, George. I'll see no more else indeed, Law, and I pray you let the youths understand so much by word of mouth, for I will tell you truly, I'm afraid of my boy. Come, George, let's be merry and wise. The child's a fatherless child, and say they should put him into a straight pair of gaskins, 'twere worse than not grass. He would never grow after it.
Ah, here's Rafe. Here's Rafe.
How do you, Rafe? You are welcome, Rafe, as I may say. It's a good boy. Hold up thy head and be not afraid. We are thy friends, Rafe. The gentleman will praise thee, Rafe, if thou place thy part with audacity. Begin, Rafe, for God's name.
My trusty squire, unlace my helm. Give me my hat. Where are we? Or what deserts might this be?
Mirror of knighthood, this is, as I take it, the perilous Waltham Down, in whose bottom stands the enchanted valley.
Oh, Michael, we are betrayed, we are betrayed. Here be giants. Fly, boy, fly!
Place on my helm again. What noise is this? A gentle lady flying the embrace of some uncourteous knight. I will relieve her. Go, squire, and say the knight that wears this pestle in honor of all ladies swears revenge upon that recreant coward that pursues her. Go, comfort her, and that same gentle squire that bears her company.
I go, brave knight.
My trusty dwarf and friend, reach me my shield and hold it while I swear. First by my knighthood, then by the soul of Amadis de Gaul, my famous ancestor, then by my sword, the beauteous Brianella girt about me, by this bright burning pestle of mine honor, the living trophy, and by all respect due to distressed damsels. Here I vow never to end this quest of this fair lady and that forsaken squire till by my valor, I gain their liberty.
Heaven bless the knight that thus relieves poor errant gentlewomen.
I marry Ralph, this has some savour in't. I would see the proudest of them all offer to carry his books after him. But George, I will not have him go away so soon. I shall be sick if he go away, that I shall. Well, call Rafe again, George, call Rafe again. I prithee, sweetheart, let him come fight before me, and let's have some drums and trumpets, and let him kill all that comes near him, and thou lovest me, George.
Peace, a little bird, he shall kill them all, and they were 20 more in them than there are.
Now, fortune, if thou beest not only ill, show me thy better face, and bring about thy desperate wheel, that I may climb at length and stand. This is our place of meeting, if love have any constancy. Oh, age, where only wealthy men are counted happy, how shall I please thee? How deserve thy smiles when I am only rich in misery? My father's blessing in this little coins is my inheritance, the strong revenue. From earth thou art, and to the earth I give thee. There, grow and multiply, whilst fresher air breeds me a fresher fortune. Oh, how illusion! Oh, what hath the devil coined? Himself before me? Oh, 'tis metal good, it rings well. Oh, I am waking and taking too, I hope. Now God's dear blessing upon his heart that left it here, 'tis mine. Oh, these pearls, I take it, were not meant for swine.
I do not like that this unthrifty youth should embezzle away the money. The poor gentlewoman, his mother, will have a heavy heart for it, God knows.
And reason good, sweetheart.
Let him go. I'll tell Rafe a tale in his ear. Shall fetch him again with a wannion, I warrant him, if he be above ground. And besides, George, here be a number of sufficient gentlemen can witness, and myself and yourself, and the musicians, if we be called in question. But here comes Rafe, George. Thou shalt hear him speak as he were an emperor.
Comes not Sir Squire again?
A right courteous knight, your squire doth come, and with him comes the lady. For, and the squire of damsels, as I take it.
Madam, if any service or devoir of a poor errant knight may right your wrongs, command it, and I am pressed to give you succor, for to that holy end I bear my armor.
That's what, sir, I'm a poor gentleman and I've lost my money in this forest.
Desert, you would say, lady, and not lost. Whilst I have sword and lance, dry up your tears, which ill befits the beauty of that face, and tell the story, if I may request it, of your disastrous fortune.
Not alas, I left £1,000, £1,000, even all the money I had laid up for this youth upon the sight of your mastership. You looked so grim, and as I say it, save in your presence, more like a giant than a mortal man.
I am as you are, lady, so are they, all mortal. But why weeps this gentle squire?
Has he not cause to weep, do you think, when he's lost his inheritance?
Young hope of valor, weep not. I am here that will confound thy foe, and pay it dear upon his coward head that dares deny distressed squires and ladies equity. I have but one horse on which shall ride this lady fair behind me. And before this courteous squire, fortune will give us more upon the next adventure. Fairly speed beside us, squire and dwarf, to do us need.
Did I not tell you, Nell, what your man would do? By the faith of my body, wench, for clean action and good delivery, they all may cast their caps at him.
And so they may, if faith, for I dare speak it boldly, the 12 companies of London cannot match him, timber for timber. Well, George, and he be not inveigled by some of these paltry players, I much marvel. But George, we have done our parts, if the boy have any grace to be thankful.
Yes, I warrant you, duckling.
A good Mistress Luce? However, I in fault for your lame horse. You're welcome unto Waltham, but which way now to go, or what to say, I know not truly, till it be broad day.
Oh, fear not, Master Humphrey. I am guide for this place good enough.
Then up and ride, or, if it please you, walk for your repose, or sit, or, if you will, go pluck a rose, either of which shall be indifferent to your good friend and Humphrey, whose consent is so entangled ever to your will, as the poor harmless horse is to the mill.
Faith, and you say the word, we'll even sit down and take a nap.
'Tis better in the town, where we may nap together, for believe me, to sleep without a snatch would mickle grieve me.
You're merry, Master Humphrey.
So I am, and have been ever married from my dam.
Your nurse had the less labour.
Faith, it may be.
Luce, dear friend, Luce.
Here, Jasper.
You are mine.
If it be so, my friend, you use me fine. What do you think I am?
An arrant noddy.
A word of obloquy? Now, by God's body, I'll tell thy master, for I know thee well.
Oh, nay, and you be so forward to tell. Take that, and that, and tell him, sir, I gave it, and say I paid you well.
Oh, sir, I have it, and do confess the payment. Pray, be quiet.
Oh, go, get you to your nightcap and the diet to cure your beaten bones.
Alas, poor Humphrey. Get thee some wholesome broth with sage and comfrey, a little oil of rose, and a feather to anoint thy back withal.
When I came hither, would I had gone to Paris with John Dory.
Farewell, my pretty nump. I am very sorry I cannot bear thee company.
Well, the devil's dam was ne'er so banged in hell.
This young Jasper will prove me and other things of my conscience, and he may be suffered. George, dost not see, George, how he swaggers and flies at the very heads of folks, as if he were a dragon. Well, if I do not do his lesson for wronging the poor gentleman, I am no true woman. His friends that brought him up might have been better occupied, I wis, than have taught him these theggeries. He's in the highway to the gallows, God bless him.
You're too bitter, Gunny. The young man may do well enough for all this.
Come hither, Master Humphrey. Has he hurt you? Oh, now beshrew his fingers for it. Here, sweetheart, here's some green ginger for thee. Now beshrew my heart, but it has Peppermell in his head, as big as pullet's egg. Oh, alas, sweet lamb, how thy temples beat. Oh, take the peace on him, sweetheart, take the peace on him.
No, no, you talk like a foolish woman. I'll have Rafe fight with him and swinge him up well favouredly. Sirrah boy, come hither. Let Rafe come in and fight with Jasper.
Aye, and beat him well. He's an unhappy boy.
Sir, you must pardon us. The plot of our play lies contrary and 'twill hazard the spoiling of our play.
Plot me no plots. I'll have Rafe come out. I'll make your house do up for you else.
Why, sir, he shall, but if anything fall out of order, the gentleman must pardon us.
Go your ways, good man boy. I'll hold him a penny. You shall have his belly full of fighting now. Oh, here comes Rafe. No more.
What knight is that? Squire, ask him if he keep the passage bound by love of Lady Fair, or else but prick it.
I am no knight, but a poor gentleman that this same night hath stolen for me upon yonder green my lovely wife, and suffered to be seen, yet extant on my shoulders such a greeting that whilst I live, I shall think of that meeting.
Aye, Rafe, he beat him unmercifully, Rafe, and thou sparest him, Rafe, I would thou wert hanged.
No more, wife, no more.
Where is the caitiff wretch hath done this deed? Lady, your pardon that I may proceed upon the quest of this injurious knight. And thou, fair squire, repute me not the worse in leaving the great venture of the purse and the rich casket till some better leisure.
Here comes the broker, hath purloined my treasure.
Go, squire, and tell him I am here, an errant knight at arms, to crave delivery of that fair lady to her own knight's arms. If he deny, bid him take choice of ground, and so defy him.
From the knight that bears the golden pestle, I defy thee, knight, unless thou make fair restitution of that bright lady.
Tell the knight that sent thee he is an ass, and I will keep the wench and knock his headpiece.
Knight, thou art but dead, if thou recall not thy uncourteous terms.
Oh, break his pate, Rafe. Break his pate, Rafe, soundly.
Oh, come, knight, I am ready for you. Now, your pestle. Shall try what temper, sir, your mortars of. With that he stood upright in his strops, and gave the knight of the calfskin such a knock that he forsook his horse, and down he fell. And then he leaped upon him, and plucking off his helmet.
Nay, and my noble knight be down so soon, though I can scarcely go, I needs must run.
Run, Rafe, run for thy life, boy. Jasper comes, Jasper comes.
Ah! Come, Luce. We must have other arms for you. Humphrey and the golden pestle, both adieu.
Sure the devil, God bless us, is in this springald. Why, George, didst ever see such a fire, Drake? I'm afraid my boy's miscarried. If he be, though he were Master Mary thought son 1,000 times, if there be any law in England, I'll make some of them smart for it.
No, no, I have found out the matter, sweetheart. Jasper is enchanted. As sure as we are here, he is enchanted. He could no more have stood in Rafe's hands than I can stand in my old Lord Mayor's. I'll have a ring to discover all enchantments, and Rafe shall beat him yet. Be no more vexed, for it shall be so.
Oh, husband, here's Rafe again. Stay, Rafe, let me speak with thee. How dost thou, Rafe? Art thou not shrewdly hurt? The foul great lung is laid unmercifully on thee. Oh, there's some sugar candy for thee. Now proceed. Thou shalt have another bout with him.
If Rafe had him at the fencing school, if he did not make a puppy of him and drive him up and down the school, he should ne'er come in my shop more.
Truly, Master Knight of the Burning Pestle, I am weary.
Indeed, law, mother, and I am very hungry.
Take comfort, gentle dame, and you, my fair squire, for in this desert there must needs be placed many strong castles held by courteous knights, until I bring you safe to one of those I swear by my order ne'er to leave you.
Well said, Rafe. George, Rafe was ever comfortable, was he not?
Yes, Doc.
I shall ne'er forget him when he had lost our child. You know, it was strayed almost alone to Puddle Wharf, and the criers were abroad for it, and there it had drowned itself. But for a sculler, Rafe was the most comfortablest to me. Peace, mistress, says he, let it go. I'll get you another is good. Did he not, George? Did he not say so?
Yes, indeed did he, Mouse.
Would we had a mess of pottage and a pot of drink, squire, and we're going to bed.
Why, we are at Waltham Town's End, and that's the Bell Inn.
Ah, take courage, valiant knight, damsel, and squire. I have discovered not a stone's cast off an ancient castle held by the old knight of most holy order of the Bell, who gives to all knights errant to entertain. There plenty is of food, and all prepared by the white hands of his own lady dear. He hath 3 squires, and welcome all his guests. The first high chamberlain, who will see our beds prepared, and bring us snowy sheets where never footman stretched his buttered hams. The second, hight tapstrow, who will see our pots fulfilled, and no froth therein. The third, a gentle squire, Ostlero hight, who will our palfrey slick with wisps of straw, and in that manger put them opes enough, and never grease their teeth with candle snuff.
That same dwarf's a pretty boy, but the squire's a grown old.
Knock at the gates, my squire, with stately lance.
Who's there? You're welcome, gentlemen. Will you see a room?
Right courteous and valiant knight of the burning pestle, this is the squire Tapstrow.
Fair squire Tapstrow, I a wandering knight, height of the burning pestle, in quest of this fair lady's casket and wrought purse, losing myself in the vast wilderness, and to this castle well by fortune brought, where, hearing of the goodly entertain your knight of holy order of the Bell gives to all damsels and errant knights, I thought to knock, and now am bold to enter.
And please you, see a chamber. You are very welcome.
George, I would have something done, but I cannot tell what it is.
What is it now?
Why, George, shall Rafe beat nobody again? Prithee, sweetheart, let him.
So he shall, Nell, and if I join with him, we'll knock them all.
Oh, George, here's Master Humphrey again now, that lost Mistress Luce and Mistress Luce's father. Master Humphrey will do somebody's errand, I warrant him.
Father, 'tis true. In arms I ne'er shall clasp her, for she is stolen away by your man Jasper.
I thought he would tell him.
Happy that I am to lose my child. Now I begin to think on Jasper's words, who oft hath urged to me thy foolishness. Why didst thou let her go? Thou lovest her not, that wouldst bring home thy life and not bring her.
Father, forgive me. Shall I tell you true? Look on my shoulders, they are black and blue. Whilst to and fro fair Luce and I were winding, he came and basted me with a hedge binding.
Get men and horses straight. We will be there within this hour. You know the place again.
I know the place where he my loins did swaddle. I'll get 6 horses, and to each a saddle.
Meantime, I'll go talk with Jasper's father.
George, what wilt thou lay with me now that Master Humphrey has not Mistress Luce yet? Speak, George, what wilt thou lay by me?
No, Nell, I warrant thee Jasper is at Puckeridge with her by this.
Nay, George, you must consider Mistress Lucy's feet are tender. And besides, 'tis dark, and I promise you truly, I do not see how he should get out of Waltham Forest with her yet.
Nay, Connie, what wilt thou lay with me that Rafe has her not yet?
I will not lay against Rafe, honey, because I have not spoken with him. But look, George, peace. Here comes the merry old gentleman again.
When it was grown to dark midnight and all were fast asleep, in came Margaret's grimly ghost and stood at William's feet. I have money and meat and drink beforehand. Till tomorrow at noon, why should I be sad? Methinks I have half a dozen jovial spirits within me. I am free merry men and free merry men. But what end should any man be sad in this world? Give me a man when he goes to hanging, cries to the black bull to me, and a woman that will sing a catch in her travel. I have seen a man come by my door with a serious face in a black cloak, without a hatband, carrying his head as if he looked for pins in the street. I have looked out my window half a year after, and have spied that man's head upon London Bridge. Oh, 'tis vile. Never trust a tailor that does not sing at work. His mind is full of nothing but filching.
Oh, mark this, George, 'tis worth noting. Godfrey, my tailor, you know, never sings, and he had 14 yards to make this gown, and I'll be sworn Mistress Penniston, the draper's wife, had one made with 12.
'Tis mirth that fills the veins with blood, more than wine or sleep or food. Let each man keep his heart at ease, no man dies of that disease. He that would his body keep from diseases must not weep. But whoever laughs and sings, never he his body brings into fevers, gouts, or rheums, or lingeringly his lungs consumes, or meets with aches in the bone, or catarrhs or gripping stone, but contented lies for aye. The more he laughs, the more he may.
Look, George, how sayest thou by this? George is not a fine old man. Now, God's blessing of thy sweet lips. When wilt thou be so merry, George? Faith, thou art the frowningest little thing when thou art angry in a country.
Peace, Connie. Thou shalt see him took down too, I warrant thee. Here's Luce's father come now.
As you come from Walsingham, from the Holy Land, there met you not with my true love by the way as you came.
Master Merrythought, my daughter's gone. This mirth becomes you not. My daughter's gone.
Oh, why, and if she be, what care I? Or let her come or go, or go tarry.
Mock not my misery. It is your son whom I have made my own, when all forsook him, has stolen my only joy, my child away.
He set her on a milk-white steed, and himself upon a grey. He never turned his face again, but he bore her quite away.
Unworthy of the kindness I have shown to thee and thine. Too late, I well perceive thou art consenting to my daughter's loss.
Your daughter? What snares with here with your daughter? Let her go, think no more on her, but sing loud. If both my sons were on the gallows, I would sing. Down, 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 they fall down, and arise, they never shall.
Oh, might I behold her once again, and she once more embrace her aged sire.
Aye, how scurvily this goes, and she once more embrace her aged sire. You'll make a dog on her, will ye? She cares much for her aged sire, I warrant you. She cares not for her daddy, nor she cares not for her mammy, yes. For she is my lord of Logave's lassie.
For this scorn I will pursue that son of thine to death.
Do, and when you have killed him, give him flowers in our parlor. Give him flowers in our, give him red and white and blue and green and yellow.
I'll fetch my daughter.
I'll hear you no more, your daughter. It spoils my mirth.
I say I'll fetch my daughter.
Was never man for lady's sake. Down, down. Tormented as I, poor Sir Guy. Yea, daddy down, for Lucy's sake, that lady's bright. Down, down, as ever men beheld with eye. Yea, daddy down.
I'll be revenged by heaven.
How dost thou like this, George?
Why, this is well, Cuddy. If Rafe were at once, thou should see more.
The fiddlers go again, husband.
I know, but this is scurvy music. I gave the horse and gallows money, and I think he has not got me to the weights of Southwark. If I hear him not anon, I'll twinge him by the ears. You, musicians, play Bellew.
Oh, no good, George. Let's have Lacrimae.
Why is this? Why, this is it, Connie.
It's all the better, George. Now, sweet lamb, what story is that painted upon the cloth? The Confutation of St. Paul.
No, lamb, that's Rafe and Lucrece.
Rafe and Lucrece? Which Rafe? Our Rafe?
No, mouse, that was a Tartarian.
A Tartarian? Well, I would the fiddlers had done that we might see our Rafe again.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a... Well, let's break until 2:25. Has anybody got a spell to get the gremlins out of the system today?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes on Saturdays, I think maybe a lot of people are on, a lot of people are using stuff, and that sometimes can cause some issues. So, but so yeah, I mean, this is thank you. This is fun. It's great to have this sort of a show because there's such a sort of modern thing of the audience sort of interfering with what's going on that we sort of think of as a kind of postmodern thing. And it's like, yeah, postmodern has been going on for over 400 years, I guess.
What I find interesting, I think it works better with children. I mean, it was written to be performed by children, and I think, strangely enough, that there is a sense of imagination that it works like Peter Pan with children, playing the games.
Yeah, it's got that spontaneous, wondrous feel. People putting on
Yeah. When I first did it, we did it at school. I mean, and we were all kids, and and it just had this incredible energy.
I bet. I mean, it's just such a fun play. Like, it'd be great to stage this, like with the props and everything, and like the different,
When we did it, we actually did it in Elizabethan costume and all the rest of it on a mock-up of the Globe Theatre. I mean, and it was fun. It worked. I'm not sure it would work these days, but I think it certainly worked. 50 years, 60 years ago.
Well, what's interesting is just sort of reading about all of the various revivals that in the 20th century, that there was one in 1920 with Noel Coward as Rafe, and then another one in 1932 with Ralph Richardson as Rafe.
And Sybil Thorndike.
Yeah.
That was the one that surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually there was a revival with Timothy Spall, and then another one with his son Rafe Spall taking.
Yeah, but what was interesting about that was that Timothy Spall was at the RSC and Rafe Spall was at the RNT, so dueling with each other, dueling companies. It's fitting for this play.
Yeah, and I also read that actually Rafe Spall is named Rafe after the character in this play.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah. I think part of the problem with the play is the fact that we don't get the satire.
Well, I mean, in terms of this sort of romantic sort of chivalry and very much, I mean, it is still sort of based on the old thing of like, oh, the young couple to prevent the marriage of the daughter to the older rich man
Yeah,
is something that is still, I mean, pretty well known as a
When
trope.
Kathy said to me she thought the whole thing was like a Monty Python sketch grown large.
Yeah, it is a bit. People get Monty Python, so.
I
Yeah.
never did.
Wow. I mean, I really think Monty Python is something that has really affected so much of the way we see the world and so much comedy that in some ways I think their influence is similar in impact to like the Beatles, if not even more so, in terms of a really sort of comic, which is also, I think, reflected in the work of Douglas Adams and other sorts of people.
Except Monty Python didn't do it first. They were a television spin-off of a very famous radio show called The Goon Show, which actually was the starting point of a couple of comedians called Spike Milligan and Peter Sellers. I mean, and it was very much in the you know the Python-esque way, with silly voices and people doing silly things.
I took a break. I had to leave.
Did they do silly walk?
Can't hear you. Sorry, what?
From Peter Sellers there.
Did they do silly walks?
Yeah, you couldn't do silly walks on the radio, but strange enough, they did try that sort of thing, and they did it with radio sound effects. You can actually find the Goon Show. I think, you know, recordings of it. The BBC were very proud of it. Now I'm talking here. It was Prince Charles's favorite radio program, and it dated, I think, from about 1948 or something like that until about the mid-50s. You know, when they all became famous.
Just checking if I can be heard.
Well, now.
It's a little less than it was before, Michael, but we can barely hear you.
I did take a break, and I had to unplug my microphone to do it, so.
Oh, wait, I think that's a little better now.
Is that better now?
Yes, I
Not
think
so
so.
staticky.
Better.
How's this?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Taylor, I apologize for my missing cues earlier. I couldn't see you, so I didn't know if you were there. That's why I stopped talking.
Oh, I was here.
Oh, yeah, and I apologize for all of my mistakes, of which there were myriad.
I'll apologize in advance for my singing because I don't do that. So.
Neither do I, so we'll both have.
Neither do I.
You can just speak it if you
Why
want.
don't you just mime and let David sing for you?
Good.
There's an idea.
Bruce will have a very deep voice then.
Oh, I don't know. I know some ladies with really deep voices.
All right. So yeah, anybody else? Vicky, how's your sound doing? Because parts of it were all right, and some of it was just sort of it was kind of tough there. How's it working for you, Vicky? Are you there?
I am. I can hear some of you great. Like, interestingly, I can hear Michael great, but not Larry.
That's strange because he has a better voice than I do.
No. Right now I'm gargling anyway. So. Been so
But right now Larry's fading.
Well, I've been so conscientious during the pandemic of not raising my voice because I don't want to spread droplets.
Okay.
And now, you know, you just bring up all the gunk that's been waiting for 8 months.
Yeah. I don't even think about, you know, I never think of the actual day-to-day consequences because I've been self-isolated. I haven't been out of my apartment. I have a number of underlying conditions. So, God, thinking about speaking or talking too loudly, it makes sense and it's awful. It's awful.
So it's strange. But then again, if we actually could get motivated, we could remedy that by vocalizing and whatnot on a daily basis. Would that it were.
Are we all back?
Are we well met?
Well met. Exactly.
Yes, well, Matt.
I think they're all here.
Need a Jasper and a Luce to start this one. Do we have Jasper back yet?
I'm here. Rooted to my chair.
Shall we continue? Actus tertius sine prima.
Oh, come, my dear, dear. Though we have lost our way, we have not lost ourselves. Are you not weary with this night's wanderings, broken from your rest, and frightened with the terror that attends the darkness of this wild, unpeopled place?
No, my best friend. I cannot either fear or entertain a weary thought, whilst you, the end of all my full desire, stand by me. Let them that lose their hopes and live to languish amongst the number of forsaken lovers tell the long weary steps and number time, start at a shadow and shrink up their blood, whilst I, possessed with all content and quiet, thus take my pretty love, and thus embrace him.
Oh, you have caught me loose so fast that whilst I live, I shall become your faithful prisoner and wear these chains forever. Come, sit down and rest your body, too delicate for these disturbances. So will you sleep? Oh, come, do not be more able than you are. I know you are not skillful in these watches. For women are no soldiers. Be not nice, but take it, sleep, I say.
I cannot sleep. Indeed, I cannot, friend.
So why then we'll sing, and try how that will work upon our senses.
I'll sing or say or anything but sleep.
Come, little mermaid, rob me of my heart with that enchanting voice.
Oh, you mock me, Jasper.
Tell me, dearest, what is love?
'Tis a lightning from above, 'tis an arrow, 'tis a fire, 'tis a boy they call desire, 'tis a smile doth beguile.
The poor hearts of men that prove, tell me more, are women true?
Some love change, and so do you.
Are they fair and never kind?
Yes, when men turn with the wind,
Are they froward?
ever toward those that love to love anew.
Dissemble it no more. I see the god of heavy sleep lay on his heavy mace upon your eyelids.
I am very heavy.
Sleep, sleep, and quiet rests crown thy sweet thoughts. Oh, keep from her fair blood distempers, startings, horrors, and fearful shapes. Let all her dreams be joys and chaste delights, embraces, wishes, such new pleasures, ravished soul gives. So my charms took. Keep her, you powers divine, whilst I contemplate upon the wealth and beauty of her mind. She is only fair and constant, only kind, and only to thee, Jasper. Oh, my joys, whether will you transport me? Let not fullness of my poor buried hopes come up together and o'erchange my spirits. I'm weak. Some say, however ill the sea and women are governed by the moon, both ebb and flow, both full of changes, yet to them that know and truly judge, these but opinions are, and heresies to bring on pleasing war between our tempers, that without these were both void of after love and present fear, which are the best of Cupid. Oh, thou child, bred from spare, I dare not entertain thee, having a love without the faults of women, and greater in her perfect good men, which to make good and please myself the stronger, though certainly I am certain of her love, I'll try her, that the world in memory may sing to after times her constancy. Loose! Ghost, awake!
Why do you frighten me, friend, with those distempered looks? What makes your sword drawn in your hand? Who hath offended you? I prithee, Jasper, sleep. Thou art wild with watching.
Oh, come make your way to heaven and bid the world with all the villains that stick upon it farewell. You're for another life.
Oh, Jasper, how have my tender years committed evil, especially against the man I love, thus to be cropped untimely?
Foolish girl! Canst thou imagine I could love his daughter that flung me from my fortune into nothing? Discharged me his service, shut the doors upon my poverty, and scorned my prayers, sending me, like a boat without a mast, to sink or swim? Come, by this hand you die. I must have life and blood to satisfy your father's wrongs.
Away, George, away! Raise the watch at Ludgate and bring a mittimus from the justice for this desperate villain. Now, I charge you, gentlemen, see the king's peace kept. Oh, my heart, what a varlet's this, to offer manslaughter upon the harmless gentlewoman.
I warrant thee, sweetheart, we'll have him hampered.
Oh, Jasper, be not cruel. If thou wilt kill me, smile and do it quickly, and let not many deaths appear before me. I am a woman made of fear and love, a weak, weak woman. Kill not with thy eyes. They shoot me through and through. Strike. I am ready. And dying still, I love thee.
Whereabouts?
No more of this now. To myself again.
There he stands with sword like martial knight drawn in his hand. Therefore beware the fight, you that be wise. For were I good Sir Bevis, I would not stay his coming by your leaves.
Sirrah, restore my daughter.
Sirrah? No.
Upon him.
So down with him, down with him, down with him. Cut him i' the leg, boys, cut him i' the leg.
Come your ways, minion. I'll provide a cage for you. You've grown so tame. Horse her away.
I am glad your forces have the day.
Oh, they are gone. I am hurt. My love is lost, never to get again. Oh, me, unhappy. Bleed, bleed and die. I cannot. Oh, my folly, thou hast betrayed me. Hope, where art thou fled? Tell me if thou beest anywhere remaining. Shall I but see my love again? No. She will not deign to look upon her butcher, nor is it fit she should. Yet I must venture, on chance or fortune, or whate'er thou art that men adore for powerful. Hear my cry, and let me loving live, or losing die.
Is it gone, George?
Aye, Connie.
Marry and let him go, sweetheart, by the faith of my body, has put me into such a fright that I tremble, as they say, as 'twere an aspid leaf. Look, my little finger, George, how it shakes. Now, in truth, every member of my body is the worse for it.
Come, hug in mine arms, sweet mouse. He shall not fright thee any more. Alas, mine own dear art, how it quivers.
Oh, Rafe! How
turning my
dost
video on.
thou, Rafe? Oh, how hast thou slept tonight? Has the night used thee well?
Peace now, let Rafe alone.
Master, the reckoning is not paid.
Right, courteous knight, who for the order's sake, which thou hast ta'en, hangst out the holy bell. As I this flaming pestle bear about, we render thanks to your puissant self, your beauteous lady, and your gentle squires, for thus refreshing of our wearied limbs, stiffened with hard achievements in the wild desert.
Sir, there is 12 shillings to pay.
Thou Merry Squire Tapsterow, thanks to thee for comforting our souls with double jug, and if adventurous fortune prick thee forth, thou jovial squire, to follow feats of arms, take heed thou tender every lady's cause, every true knight, and every damsel fair, but spill the blood of treacherous Saracens and false enchanters, that with magic spells have done to death full many a noble knight.
Host, you're muted. Host, you're muted, Asher.
Thou valiant knight of the burning pestle, give ear to me. There is 12 shillings to pay, and as I am a true knight, I will not bate a penny.
George, I prithee tell me, must Rafe pay 12 shillings now?
No, nothing but the old knight is merry with Rafe.
Oh, it's nothing else. Rafe will be as merry as he.
Sir Knight, this mirth of yours becomes you well. But to requite this liberal courtesy, if any of your squires will follow arms, he shall receive from my heroic hand a knighthood by the virtue of this pestle.
Fair knight, I thank you for your noble offer. Therefore, gentle knight, 12 shillings you must pay, or I must cap you.
George, did I not tell thee as much? The Knight of the Bell is in earnest. Rafe shall not be beholden to him. Give him his money, George, and let him go snick up.
Cat Rafe? No, hold your hand, Sir Knight of the Bell. There's your money. Have you anything to say to Rafe now? Cat Rafe. Ugh.
I would you should know it. Rafe has friends that will not suffer him to be capped for 10 times so much, and 10 times to the end of that. Now take thy course, Rafe.
Come, Michael, thou and I will go home to thy father. He hath enough left to keep us a day or two, and we'll set fellows along to cry our purse and casket, shall we, Michael?
Aye, pray, mother. In truth, my feet are full of chilblains with travelling.
Oh, faith, and those chilblains are a foul trouble. Mistress Mary thought when your youth comes home, let him rub all the soles of his feet and his heels and his ankles with a mouse skin. Or, if none of your people can catch a mouse, when he goes to bed, let him roll his feet in the warm embers, and I warrant you he shall be well. And you may make him put his fingers between his toes and smell to them. It's very sovereign for his head if he be costive.
Master Knight of the Burning Pestle, my son Michael and I bid you farewell, and I thank your worship heartily for your kindness.
Farewell, fair lady, and your tender squire. If pricking through these deserts I do hear of any traitorous knight who through his guile hath light upon your casket and your purse, I will despoil him of them and restore them.
I thank your worship.
Dwarf, bear my shield. Squire, elevate my lance. And now, farewell, you Knight of Holy Bell.
Aye, Rafe, all is paid.
But yet before I go, speak, worthy knight, if aught you do of sad adventures know, where errant knights may through his prowess win eternal fame, and free some gentle souls from endless bonds of steel and lingering pain.
Sirrah, go to Nick the barber and bid him prepare himself, as I told you before, quickly.
I am gone, sir.
Sir Knight, this wilderness affordeth none but the great venture, where full many a knight hath tried his prowess, and come off with shame, and where I would not have you lose your life against no man, but furious fiend of hell.
Speak on, Sir Knight. Tell what he is, and where. For here I vow, upon my blazing badge, never to blaze a day in quietness, But bread and water will I only eat, and the green herb and the rock shall be my couch, till I have quelled that man, or beast, or fiend, that works such damage to all errant knights.
Not far from hence, near to a craggy cliff at the north end of this distressed town, there doth stand a lowly house, raggedly builded, and in it a cave in which an ugly giant now doth win. Yclept Barbaroso. In his hand he shakes a naked lance of purest steel, with sleeves turned up, and him before he wears a motley garment to preserve his clothes from blood of those knights which he massacres. And, ladies gentle, without his door doth hang a copper basin on a pricked spear, at which no sooner gentle knights can knock, but the shrill sound fierce Barbaroso hears, and rushing forth brings in the errant knight, and sits him down in an enchanted chair. Then with an engine which he hath prepared with 40 teeth, he claws his courtly crown. Next makes him wink, and underneath his chin he plants a brazen piece of mighty board, and knocks his bullets round about his cheeks, whilst with his fingers, and an instrument with which he snaps his hair off, he doth fill the wretch's ears with a most hideous noise. Thus every knight adventurer he doth trim, and now no creature dares encounter him.
In God's name, I will fight with him, kind sir. Go but before me to this dismal cave, where this huge giant Barbaroso dwells, and by the virtue that brave Rossiclear, that damned brood of ugly giants slew, and Palmerin Franarco overthrew, I doubt not but to curb this traitor foul, and to the devil send his guilty soul.
Brave sprited knight, thus far I will perform this your request. I'll bring you within sight of this most loathsome place, inhabited by a more loathsome man, but dare not stay, for his main force swoops all he sees away.
St. George set us on before. March, squire and page.
George, dost think Rafe will confound the giant?
I owe my cap to a farthing, he does. Why, Nell, I saw him wrestle with the great Dutchman and hurl him.
Faith, and that Dutchman was a goodly man if all things were answerable to his bigness. And yet they say there was a Scottish man higher than he, and that they two and a knight met and saw one another for nothing. But of all the sights that ever were in London since I was married, methinks the little child that was so fair grown about the members was the prettiest. Oh, that and the hermaphrodite.
Nay, by your leave, Nil, Nineveh was better.
Nineveh? Oh, that was the story of Joan in the war, was it not, George?
Yes, lamb.
Oh, look, George, here comes Mistress Merrythought again. And I would have Rafe come and fight with the giant, I tell you true. I long to see it.
Good Mistress Merrythought, be gone, I pray you, for my sake. I pray you forbear a little. You shall have audience presently. I have a little business.
Mistress Merrythought, if it please you to refrain your passion a little, till Rafe have dispatched the giant out of the way, we shall think ourselves much bound to thank you. Oh, I thank you, good Mistress Merrythought.
Boy, come hither. Send away Rafe and this whoreson giant quickly.
In good faith, sir, we cannot. You'll utterly spoil our play and make it to be hissed, and it cost money. You will not suffer us to go on with our plots. I pray, gentlemen, rule him.
Let him come now and dispatch this, and I'll trouble you no more.
Will you give me your hand of that?
Give him thy hand, George, do, and I'll kiss him, I warrant thee. The youth means plainly.
I'll send him to you presently.
I thank you, little youth. Beth the child hath a sweet breath, George, but I think it be troubled with the worms. Carduus benedictus and mare's milk were the only thing in the world for it. Oh, Rafe's here, George. Oh, send thee good luck, Rafe.
Puissant knight, yonder his mansion is. Lo, where the spear and copper basin are, behold the string on which hangs many a tooth, drawn from the gentle jaw of wandering knights. I dare not stay to sound, he will appear.
Oh, faint not, heart, Susan, my lady dear, the cobbler's maid in Milk Street, for whose sake I take these arms. Oh, let the thought of thee carry thy knight through all adventurous deeds, and in the honor of thy beauteous self, may I destroy this monster, Barbarosso. Knock, squire, upon the basin till it break, with the shrill strokes, or till the giant spake.
Oh, George, the giant, the giant! Now, Rafe, for thy life!
What fond unknowing wight is this that dares so rudely knock at Barbarossa's cell, where no one comes but leaves his fleece behind?
I, traitorous caitiff, who am sent by fate to punish all the sad enormities thou hast committed against ladies gentle and errant knights, traitor to God and men, prepare thyself. This is the dismal hour appointed for thee to give strict account of all thy beastly, treacherous villainies.
Foolhardy knight, full soon thou shalt abide this fond reproach. Thy body will I bang, and lo, upon that string thy teeth shall hang. Prepare thyself, for dead soon shalt thou be.
St. George for me.
Gargantua for me.
To him, Rafe, to him! Hold up the giant! Set out thy leg before, Rafe!
Falsify a blow, Rafe. Falsify a blow. The giant lies open on the left side.
Bear it off still. There, boy. Oh, Rafe's almost down. Rafe's almost down.
Susan, inspire me. Now have up again.
Up, 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 up. Oh, so, Rafe, down with him, Rafe.
Not yet, boy.
Oh, there, boy. Kill, Rafe.
No, Rafe. Get all out of him first.
Presumptuous man, see to what desperate end thy treachery hath brought thee. The just gods, who never prosper those that do despise them for all the villainies which thou hast done, to knights and ladies now have paid thee home. By my stiff arm, a knight adventureth. But say, vile wretch, before I send thy soul to sad Avernus, whither it must go, what captives hold'st thou in thy sable cave?
Go in and free them all. Thou hast the day.
Go, squire and dwarf, search this dreadful cave, and free the wretched prisoners from their bonds.
I crave for mercy, as thou art a knight, and scorn'st to spill the blood of those that beg.
Thou showest no mercy, nor shalt thou have any. Prepare thyself, for thou shalt surely die.
Oh.
Behold, brave knight, here is one prisoner whom this wild man hath used, as you see.
This is the first wise word I heard the squire speak.
Speak what thou art, and how thou hast been used, that I may give him condign punishment.
I am a knight that took my journey post northward from London, and in courteous wise this giant trained me to his loathsome den, under pretense of killing of the itch, and all my body with a powder strewed, that smarts and stings, and cut away my beard, and my curled locks, wherein were ribands tied, and with the water washed my tender eyes, whilst up and down about me still he skipped, whose virtue is that till my eyes be whipped with a dry cloth, for this my foul disgrace, I shall not dare to look a dog in the face.
Alas, poor knight! Oh, relieve him, Rafe. Relieve poor knight while you live.
My trusty squire convey him to the town, where he may find relief. Adieu, poor knight.
Puissant knight of the burning pestle height, see here another wretch, whom this foul beast hath scorched and scorned in this inhuman wise.
Speak me thy name, and eke thy place of birth, and what hath been thy usage in his cave?
I am a knight. Sir Puckhole is my name, and by my birth I am a Londoner. Free by my copy, but my ancestors were Frenchmen all, and riding hard this way upon a trotting horse, my bones did ache, and I faint night, to ease my weary limbs, light at this cave, when straight this furious fiend, with sharpest instrument of purest steel, did cut the gristle of my nose away, and in the place this velvet plaster stands. Relieve me, gentle knight, out of his hand.
Good Rafe, relieve Sir Puckhole and send him away, for in truth his breath stinks.
Convey him straight after the other knight, Sir Puckhole. Fare you well.
Kind sir, good night.
Ah,
Oh, hark, George, what a woeful cry there is. I think some woman lies in there.
Deliver us.
What ghastly noise is this? Speak, Barbarosso, or by this blazing steel thy head goes off.
Prisoners of mine, whom I in diet keep, send lower down into the cave, and in a tub that's heated smoking hot, there may they find them and deliver them.
Run, Squire and Dwarf, deliver them with speed.
But will not Rafe kill this giant? Surely I am afraid if he let him go, he will do as much hurt as ever he did.
Not so mouse neither, if he could convert him.
Aye, George, if he could convert him. But a giant is not so soon converted as one of us ordinary people. There's a pretty tale of a witch that had the devil's mark about her, God bless us, that had a giant to her son that was called Lob Lob by the fire. Didst never hear it, George?
enter Squire leading a man with a glass of lotion in his hand, and the dwarf leading a woman with diet bread and drink.
Peace now, here come the prisoners.
Here be these pined wretches, manful knight, that for 6 weeks have not seen a wight.
Deliver what you are, and how you came to this sad cave, and what your usage was.
Who's the man? That's you again, Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am a man, an errant knight that followed arms, with spear and shield, and in my tender years I struck in one was with Cupid's fiery shaft, and fell in love with this my lady dear, and stole her from her friends in Turnbull Street, and bore her up and down from town to town, where we did eat and drink and music hear, till at length at this unhappy town we did arrive, and coming to this cave, this beast caught us and put us in a tub, where we this 2 months sweat, and should have done another month if you had not relieved us.
This bread and water hath our diet been, together with a rib cut from a neck of burned mutton. Hard hath been our fare. Release us from this ugly giant's snare.
This hath been all the food we have received, but only twice a day for novelty. He gives a spoonful of his hearty broth to each of us through this same slender quill.
From this infernal monster you shall go, that useth knights and gentle ladies so. Convey them hence.
Honey, I can tell thee the gentleman like Rafe.
Aye, George, I see it well enough. Gentlemen, I thank you all heartily for gracing my man Rafe, and I promise you, you shall see him oftener.
Barbara.
You're
Asher.
muted. Asher, you're muted.
Mercy, great knight, I do recant my ill, and henceforth never gentle blood will spill.
I give thee mercy, but yet thou shalt swear upon my burning pestle to perform the promise uttered.
I swear and kiss.
depart then and amend. Come, squire and dwarf, the sun grows towards his set, and we have many more adventures yet.
Now Rafe is in this humor. I knew he would have beaten all the boys in the house if they had been set on him.
Aye, George, but it is well as it is. I warrant you, the gentlemen do consider what it is to overthrow a giant. But look, George, here comes Mistress Merrythought and her son Michael. Now you are welcome, Mistress Merrythought. Now, Rafe has done, as you may go on.
Mark, my boy.
Aye, forsooth, mother.
Mark. Be merry, Mike, we're at home now, or I warrant you shall find the house flung out of the windows. Arky dogs. Hey, this is the old worldly faith of my husband. If you'll get in among them, I'll play them such a lesson that they shall have little list to come scraping hither again. Why, Master Merrythought, husband! Charles Merrythought!
If you will sing and dance and laugh and hollow and laugh again, and then cry there, boys, there, why then 1, 2, 3, and 4, we shall be married within the hour.
Why, Charles, do you not know your own natural wife? Open the door and turn me out those many companions. 'Tis more than time than they were a fellow like you. You're a gentleman, Charles, and an old man and father of 2 children, and I myself, though I say it, by my mother's side, niece to a worshipful gentleman and a conductor. He's been 3 times in His Majesty's service at Chester, and is now the 4th time, God bless him, and his charge upon the jury.
Go from my window, love, go. Go from my window, my dear. The wind and the rain will drive you back again. You cannot be lodged here. Hark you, Mistress Merrythought, you that walk upon adventures and forsake your husband, because he sings with never a penny in his purse. What shall I think myself the worse? Faith, no, I'll be merry. You come not here. Here's none but lads of meadow, lives of 100 years, and upwards. Care never drunk their bloods, nor want made them warble. Hey-ho, my heart is heavy.
My Master Merrythought, what am I that you should laugh me to scorn thus abruptly? Am I not your fellow feeler, as we say, in all our miseries? Your comforter in health and sickness? Have I not brought you children? Are they not like you, Charles? Look upon thine own image, hard-hearted man, and yet for all this.
Begone, my Juggy, my Puggy. Begone, my love, my dear. The weather is warm, 'twill do thee no harm. Thou canst not be lodged here. Be merry, boys, some light music and more wine.
He's not in earnest, I hope, George, is he?
What if he be, sweetheart?
Oh, marry, if he be, George, I'll make bold to tell him he's an ingrate old man to use his bedfellow so scurvily.
How does he use her, honey?
Marry, come up, Sir Saucebox. I think you'll take his part, will you not? Lord, how hot you are grown. You're a fine man, and you had a fine dog. It becomes you sweetly.
Nay, prithee, Nell, chide not, for as I am an honest man and a true Christian grocer, I do not like his doings.
I cry you mercy then, George. You know we're all frail and full of infirmities. Do you hear, Master Merrythought? May I crave a word with you?
Right up lively, lads.
I had not thought in truth, Master Merrythought, that a man of your age and discretion, as I may say, being a gentleman, and therefore known by your gentle conditions, could have used so little respect to the weakness of his wife. For your wife is your own flesh, the staff of your age, your yoke fellow, with whose help you draw through the mire of this transitory world. Nay, she's your own rib, and again
I come not hither for thee to teach, I have no pulpit for thee to preach. I would thou hast kissed me under the breech, as thou art a lady gay.
Marry, with a vengeance! I am heartily sorry for the poor gentlewoman, but if I were thy wife, if faith, greybeard, if faith...
I prithee, sweet honeysuckle, be content.
Give me such words that am a gentlewoman born. Hang him, hoary rascal! Get me some drink, George. I'm almost molten with fretting. Now, beshrew his knave's heart for it.
Lay me a light, Lavalto. Come, be frolic, fill the good fellow's wine.
My Master Merrythought, are you disposed to make me weightier? You'll open, I hope. I'll fetch them that shall open else.
Good woman, if you will sing, I'll give you something. If not, you are no love for me, Margaret. I am no love for you. Come aloft, boys, aloft.
Now, a Charles fart in your teeth, sir. Come, Mick, we'll not trouble him. I shall not ding us the teeth with his breath and his broth, that he shall not come, boy. I'll provide for thee. I warrant thee. We'll go to Master Winterwell's the merchant. I'll get his letter to mine host of the Bell in Waltham. There I'll place thee under the tapster. We'll not do that well for thee, Mick. And let us alone for that old cuckoldly knave, your father. I'll use him in his kind, I warrant ye.
Come, George, where's the beer?
Here, love.
Oh, this fornicating fellow will not out of my mind yet. Gentlemen, I'll begin to you all. I desire more of your acquaintance with all my heart. Fill the gentleman some beer, George. Oh, look, George, the little boy's come again. Methink he looks something like the Prince of Orange in his long stocking, if he had a little harness about his neck. George, I will have him dance. Fading, fading. It's a fine jig, I'll assure you, gentlemen. Now begin, brother. Now a caper, sweetheart. Now a turn of the toe, and then tumble. Cannot you tumble, youth?
No, indeed, forsooth.
Nor eat fire?
Neither.
Well, then I thank you heartily. There's 2 pence to buy your points withal.
There, boy. Deliver this, but do it well. Hast thou provided me 4 lusty fellows able to carry me? And art thou perfect in all thy business?
Sir, you need not fear. I have my lesson here and cannot miss it. The men are ready for you and what else pertains to this employment.
Oh, there, my boy, take it, but buy no land.
Faith, sir, 'twere rare to see so young a purchaser. I fly, and on my wings carry your destiny.
Oh, go and be happy. Now my latest hope forsake me not, but fling thy anchor out and let it hold. Stand fixed, thou rolling stone, till I enjoy my dearest. Hear me all, you powers that rule in men celestial.
Go thy ways, thou art as crooked a sprig as ever grew in London. I warrant him he'll come to some naughty end or other, for his looks say no less. Besides, his father, you know, George, is none of the best. You heard him take me up like a gill flirt and sing bawdy songs upon me. But if I live, George,
Let me alone, sweetheart. I have a trick in my head shall lodge him in the arches for 1 year and make him sing peccati ere I leave him. And yet he shall never know who hurt him either. Neither.
Good George, do.
What shall we have Rafe do now, boy?
You shall have what you will, sir.
Why, go, sir, and go and fetch me him then, and let the Sophie of Persia come and christen him a child.
Believe me, sir, that will not do so well. 'Tis stale. It has been had before at the Red Bull.
George, let Rafe travel over great hills, and let him be very weary, and come to the King of Cracovia's house covered with velvet, and there let the king's daughter stand in her window, all in beaten gold, combing her golden locks with a comb of ivory, and let her spy Rafe, and fall in love with him, and come down to him, and carry him to her father's house, and then let Rafe talk with her.
Well said, Nell. It shall be so. Boy, let's have it done quickly.
Sir, if you will imagine all this to be done already, you shall hear them talk together. But we cannot present a house covered with black velvet and a lady in beaten gold.
Sir boy, let's have it as you can then.
Besides, it will show ill-favoredly to have a grocer's apprentice to court a king's daughter.
But it's so, sir. You are well read in histories. I pray you, what was Sir Dagonet? Was he not apprentice to a grocer in London? Read the play of the Four Prentices of London, where they toss their pikes. So I pray you fetch him in, sir, fetch him in.
It shall be done. It is not our fault, gentlemen.
Now we shall see fine doings, I warrant thee, George. Oh, here they come. How prettily the King of Cracovia's daughter is dressed.
Aye, Nell, it is the fashion of that country, I warrant thee.
Welcome, Sir Knight, unto my father's court. King of Moldavia, unto me, Pompiona, his daughter dear. But sure you do not like your entertainment that will stay with us no longer but a night.
Damsel right fair, I am on many sad adventures bound. They call me forth into the wilderness. Besides, my horse's back is something galled, which will enforce me ride a sober pace. But many thanks, fair lady, be with you, for using errant knight with courtesy.
But say, brave knight, what is your name and birth?
My name is Rafe. I am an Englishman, as true as steel, a hearty Englishman, and prentice to a grocer in the Strand, by deed, indent of which I have one part, but fortune calling me to follow arms, on me this holy order I did take of burning Pestle, which in all men's eyes I bear, confounding ladies' enemies.
Oft have I heard of your brave countrymen, and fertile soil and store of wholesome food. My father oft will tell me of a drink in England found, and nipitato called, which driveth all the sorrow from your hearts.
Lady, 'tis true, you need not lay your lips to better nipitata than there is.
And of a wild fowl he will often speak, which powdered beef and mustard called is, for there have been great wars twixt us and you. But truly, Rafe, it was not long of me. Tell me then, Rafe, could you contented be to wear a lady's favor in your shield?
I am a knight of a religious order, and will not wear a favor of ladies that trust in Antichrist and false traditions.
Well said, Rafe. Convert her if thou canst.
Besides, I have a lady of mine own in merry England, for whose virtuous sake I took these arms, and Susan is her name, a cobbler's maid in Milk Street, whom I vow ne'er to forsake, whilst life and pestle last.
Happy that cobbling dam, whoe'er she be, that for her own dear Rafe hath gotten thee. Unhappy I, that ne'er shall see the day to see thee more, that bear'st my heart away.
Lady, farewell, I must needs take my leave.
Hard-hearted Rafe, that ladies dost deceive.
Hark thee, Rafe, there's money for thee. Give something in the King of Cracovia's house. Be not beholding to him.
Lady, before I go, I must remember your father's officers, who, truth to tell, have been about me very diligent. Hold up thy snowy hand, thou princely maid. There's 12 pence for your father's chamberlain, and another shilling for his cook, for by my troth the goose was roasted well. And 12 pence for your father's horsekeeper, for anointing my horse back And for his butter, there's another shilling. To the maid that washed my boot hose, there's an English groat. And 2 pence to the boy that wiped my boots. And last, fair lady, is for yourself. 3 pence to buy you pins at Bumbo Fair.
Full many thanks, and I will keep them safe till all the heads be off, for thy sake, Rafe.
Advance, my squire and dwarf, I cannot stay.
Thou kill'st my heart in parting thus away.
Oh, I commend Rafe, yet that he will not stoop to a Cracovian. There's properer women in London than any are there, I wis. Oh, but here comes Master Humphrey and his love again. Oh, now, George.
Aye, Connie, peace.
Go, get you up. I will not be entreated. Gossip mine, I'll keep you sure hereafter from gadding out again with boys and unthrifts. Oh, come, they are woman's tears. I know your fashion. Go, sirrah, lock her in and keep the key safe as you love your life. Now, my son Humphrey, you may both rest assured of my love in this and reap your own desire.
I see this love you speak of through your daughter, although the whole be little, and hereafter will yield the like in all I may or can, fitting a Christian and a gentleman.
I do believe you, my good son, and thank you, for 'twere an impudence to think you flattered.
It were indeed. But shall I tell you why? I have been beaten twice about the lie.
Well, son, no more of compliment. My daughter is yours again. Appoint the time and take her. We'll have no stealing for it. I, myself, and some few of our friends will see you married.
I would you would, if faith, for be it known, I ever was afraid to lie alone.
Some 3 days hence, then.
3 days. Let me see. 'Tis somewhat of the most, yet I agree, because I mean against the appointed day to visit all my friends in new array.
Sir, there's a gentlewoman without would speak with your worship.
What is she?
Sir, I ask her not.
Bid her come in.
Peace be to your worship. I come as a poor suitor to you, sir, in behalf of this child.
Are you not wife to Merrythought?
Yes, truly. What I had ne'er seen his eyes, he's undone me, and himself, and his children. And there he lives at home, and sings, and hoits, and revels among his drunken companions. But I warrant you, where to get a penny to put bread in his mouth he knows not. And therefore it is like your worship, I would entreat your letter to the honest toes of the bell in Waltham. I may place my child under the protection of his tapster in some settled course of life.
I am glad the heavens have heard my prayers. Thy husband, when I was ripe in sorrows, laughed at me. Thy son, like an unthankful wretch, I, having redeemed him from his fall and made him mine, to show his love again, first stole my daughter, then wronged this gentleman, and last of all gave me that grief had almost brought me down unto my grave, had not a stronger hand relieved my sorrows. Go, weep as I did, and be unpitied, for here I profess an everlasting hate to all thy name.
Will you so, sir? I'll say you by that. Come, Mick. Let him keep his wind to cool his pottage. We'll go to thy nurse's, Mick. She knits silk stockings, boy, and we'll knit too, boy, and be holding to none of them all.
Sir, I take it you are the master of this house.
How then, boy?
Then to yourself, sir, comes this letter.
From whom, my pretty boy?
From him that was your servant. But no more shall that name ever be, for he is dead. Grief of your purchased anger broke his heart. I saw him die, and from his hand receive this paper with the charge to bring it hither. Read it and satisfy yourself in all.
Sir, that I have wronged your love, I must confess, in which I have purchased to myself, besides my own undoing, the ill opinion of my friends. Let not your anger, good sir, outlive me, but suffer me to rest in peace with your forgiveness. Let my body, if a dying man may so much prevail with you, be brought to your daughter, that she may truly know my hot flames are now buried, and withal receive a testimony of the zeal I bore her virtue. Farewell forever, and be ever happy. Jasper. God's hand is great in this. I do forgive him. Yet I am glad he's quiet, but I hope he will not bite again. Boy, bring the body and let me have his will, if that be all.
It is here without, sir.
So, sir, if you please, you may conduct it in. I do not fear it.
I'll be your usher boy, for though I say it, he owed me something once, and, well, did pay it.
If there be any punishment inflicted upon the miserable, more than yet I feel, let it together seize me, and at once press down my soul. I cannot bear the pain of these delaying tortures. Thou that art the end of all, and the sweet rest of all, come, come, O death, bring me to thy peace, and blot out all the memory I nourish, both of my father and my cruel friend. Oh, wretched maid, still living to be wretched, to be essay to fortune in her changes, and grow to number times and woes together. How happy had I been if being born my grave had been my cradle.
By your leave, young mistress, here's a boy that brought a coffin. What I would say I know not, but your father charged me to give you notice. Here they come.
For me I hope 'tis come, and 'tis most welcome.
Fair mistress, let me not add greater grief to that great store you have already. Jasper, that whilst he lived was yours, now dead and here enclosed, commanded me to bring his body hither and to crave a tear from those fair eyes, though he deserved not pity, to deck his funeral. For so he bid me tell her for whom he died.
He shall have many. Good friends, depart a little, whilst I take my leave of this dead man that once I loved. Hold yet a little life, and then I give thee to thy first heavenly being. Oh, my friend, hast thou deceived me thus, and got before me? I shall not long be after, but believe me, thou wert too cruel, Jasper, against thyself, in punishing the fault I could have pardoned with so untimely death. Thou didst not wrong me, but ever wert most kind, most true, most loving, and I the most unkind, most false, most cruel. Didst thou but ask a tear? I'll give thee all, even all my eyes can pour down, all my sighs and all myself before thou goest from me. They are but sparing rites. But if thy soul be yet about this place and can behold and see what I prepare to deck thee with, it shall go up, borne on the wings of peace and satisfied. First will I sing thy dirge, and then kiss thy pale lips, and then die myself, and fill one coffin and one grave together. Come you whose loves are dead, and whilst I sing, weep and ring, every hand and every head, bind with cypress and sad yew, ribbons black and candles blue, for him that was of men most true. Come with heavy mourning, and on his grave let him have sacrifice of sighs and groaning. Let him have fair flowers now, white and purple, green and yellow, for him that was of men most true. Thou sable cloth, sad cover of my joys, I lift thee up, and thus I meet with death.
And thus you meet the living.
Oh, save me, heaven!
Oh, nay, no, nay, do not fear, I am no spirit. Look better on me. Do you not know me yet?
Oh, thou dear shadow of my friend!
Dear substance, I swear I am no shadow. Feel my hand. It is the same as it was. I am your Jasper that's yet living and yet loving. Oh, pardon my rash attempt, my foolish proof I put in practice your constancy, for sooner should my sword have drunk my blood and set my soul at liberty than drawn the least drop from that body for which boldness doom me to anything. If death, I take it and willingly.
This death I'll give you for it. So now am I satisfied. You are no spirit, but mine own truest friend. Why do you come thus to me?
Oh, first to see you, then to convey you hence.
It cannot be, for I am locked up here and watched at all hours. 'Tis impossible for me to escape.
Oh, nothing more possible. Within this coffin do you convey yourself. Let me alone. I have the wits of 20 men and more, only I crave the shelter of your closet a little, and then fear me not. Creep in, that they may presently convey you hence. Fear nothing, dearest love, I'll be your second. Lie close, so all goes well yet. Boy!
At hand, sir.
We'll convey away the coffin, and be wary.
'Tis done already.
Now must I go conjure.
Boy!
Your servant, sir?
Do me this kindness, boy. Hold, here's a crown. Before you bury the body of this fellow, carry it to his old merry father and salute him from me and bid him sing. He hath cause.
I will, sir.
Oh, and then bring me word what tune he is in, and have another crown. But do it truly. I have fitted him a bargain, now will vex him.
God bless your worship's health, sir.
Farewell, boy.
Old merry thought, art thou there again? Let's hear some of thy songs.
Who can sing a merrier note than he that cannot change a groat? Not a denier left, and yet my heart leaps. I do wonder yet, as old as I am, that any man will follow a trade or serve that may sing and laugh and walk the streets. My wife and both my sons are, I know not where. I have nothing left, nor know I how to come by meat to supper. Yet am I merry still? For I know that I shall find it upon the table at 6 o'clock. Therefore, hang the thought. I would not be a serving man to carry the cloak bag still, nor would I be a falconer, the greedy hawks to fill. But I would be in a good house and have a good master too. But I would eat and drink of the best, and no work would I do. Oh, this is it. It keeps life and soul together. Mirth. This is the philosopher's stone that they write so much on, that keeps a man ever young.
Sir, they say they know all your money is gone, and they will trust you for no more drink.
Will they not? Let them choose. The best is I have mirth at home, and need not send abroad for that. Let them keep their drink to themselves. For Gillian of Berry, she dwells upon a hill, and she hath good beer and ale to sell, and of good fellows she thinks no ill. And thither will we go now, and thither will we go now. And when you have made a little stay, you need not ask what is to pay, but kiss your hostess and go on your way. And thither will we go now, and thither will we go now.
Sir, I can get no bread for supper.
Hang bread and supper. Let's preserve our mirth, and we shall never feel hunger. I'll warrant you. Let's have a catch. Boy, follow me. Come, sing this catch. Ho, ho, body at home, meat nor drink, nor money have we none. Feel not easy, never more need I.
Ho, ho, nobody at home, nor meat, nor drink, nor money have we none. Nevermore need I.
So, boys, enough. Follow me. Let's change our place, and we shall laugh afresh.
Let him go, George. Shall not have any countenance from us, not a good word from any of the company, if I may strike stroking't.
No more, a shinop, love. But no, I will have Rafe to a very notable matter now, to the eternal honour and glory of all grocers. Shira, you there, boy, can none of you hear?
Sir, your pleasure.
Let Rafe come out on May Day in the morning and speak upon a conduit with all his scarfs about him, and his feathers, and his rings, and his knacks.
Why, sir, you do not think of our plot. What will become of that then?
Why, sir, I care not what become on't. I'll have him come out, or I'll fetch him out myself. I'll have something done in the order of the city. Besides, he hath been long enough upon adventures. Bring him out quickly, or if I come in amongst you.
Well, sir, we shall come out, but if our play miscarry, sir, you are like to pay for it.
Bring him away then.
Oh, this'll be brave, i'faith. George, shall he not dance the Morris too, for the credit of the Strand?
No, sweetheart, it'll be too much for the boy. Oh, there he is now. He's reasonable well in apparel, but he has not rings enough.
London, to thee I do present the merry month of May. Let each true subject be content to hear me what I say. For from the top of conduit head, as plainly may appear, I will both tell my name to you and wherefore I came here. My name is Rafe, by due descent, though not ignoble I, yet far inferior to the flock of gracious grocery, and by the common counsel of my fellows in the Strand, with gilded staff and crossed scarf, the Maylord here I stand. Rejoice, O English hearts! Rejoice, rejoice, O lovers dear! Rejoice, O city, town, and country, rejoice, eke every shire! For now the fragrant flowers do spring and sprout in seemly sort. The little birds do sit and sing. The lambs do make fine sport. And now the birchen tree doth bud that makes the schoolboys cry. The morris rings, while hobby horse doth foot it featiously. The lords and ladies now abroad for the disport and play do kiss sometimes upon the grass, and sometimes in the hay. Now butter with a leaf of sage is good to purge the blood. Fly Venus and phlebotomy, for they are neither good. Now, little fish on tender stone begin to cast their bellies, and sluggish snails that erst were mute do creep out of their shellies. The rumbling rivers now do warm for little boys to paddle. The sturdy steed now goes to grass, and up they hang his saddle. The heavy hart, the blowing buck, the rascal, and the pricket are now amongst the yeoman's peas, and leave the fearful thicket. And be like them, O you, I say, of this same noble town, and lift aloft your velvet heads, and slipping of your gown, while with bells on legs, and napkins clean unto your shoulders tied, with scarfs and garters, as you please, and hey for our town cried. March out and show your willing minds by 20 and 20 to Hogsden or to Newington, where ale and cakes are plenty, and let it ne'er be said for shame that we the youths of London lay thrumming of our caps at home, and left our custom undone. Up then, I say, both young and old, both man and maid, a-maying with drums and guns that bounce aloud, and merry tabor playing, which to prolong, God save our king, and send his country peace, and root out treason from the land. And so, my friends, I cease.
I will have no great store of company at the wedding, a couple of neighbors and their wives, and we will have a capon in stewed broth with marrow and a good piece of beef stuck with rosemary.
Enter Jasper.
Forbear thy pains, fond man, it is too late.
Heavens bless me, Jasper?
I am his ghost, whom thou hast injured for his constant love. Fond worldly wretch, who thou dost not understand in death, that true hearts cannot parted be. First, know thy daughter is quite borne away on wings of angels through the liquid air, too far out of thy reach, and never more shalt thou behold her face. But she and I will in another world enjoy our loves, when neither father's anger, poverty, nor any cross that troubles earthly men shall make us sever our united hearts. And never shall thou sit or be alone in any place, but I will visit thee with ghastly looks, to put into thy mind the great offences which thou didst to me. When thou art at thy table with thy friends, merry in heart and filled with swelling wine, I'll come in midst of all thy pride and mirth, invisible to all men but thyself, and whisper such a sad tale in thine ear, shall make thee let the cup fall from thy hand, and stand as mute as pale as death itself.
Forgive me, Jasper. What might I do? Tell me, to satisfy thy troubled ghost.
There is no means. Too late thou think'st on this.
But tell me what were best for me to do.
Repent thy deed, and satisfy thy father, and beat fond Humphrey out of doors.
Look, George, his very ghost would have folks beaten.
Father, my pride is gone. Fair mistress Luce, my soul's the fount of vengeance. Mistress Luce.
Hence, fool, out of my sight. With thy fond passion thou hast undone me.
Oh, father dear, for Luce thy daughter's sake, that had no peer.
Thy father, fool? There's some blows more. Begone.
There!
Jasper, I hope thy ghost be well appeased to see thy will performed. Now I will go to satisfy thy father for my wrongs.
Oh, what shall I do? I have been beaten twice, and Mistress Lucy's gone. Help me, device, since my true love is gone, I never more, whilst I do live, upon the sky will pour, but in the dark will wear out my shoe soles in passion, in St. Faith's church under Paul's.
George, call Rafe hither. If you love me, call Rafe hither. I have the bravest thing for him to do. George, prithee, call him quickly.
Rafe, why Rafe, boy?
Here, sir.
Come hither, Rafe. Come to thy mistress, boy.
Rafe, I would have thee call all the youths together in battle array with drums and guns and flags and march to Mile End in pompous fashion, and there exhort your soldiers to be merry and wise, and to keep their beards from burning, Rafe, and then skirmish and let your flags fly and cry, kill, kill, kill. My husband shall lend you his jerkin, Rafe, and there's a scarf. For the rest, the house shall furnish you, and we'll pay for it. Now, do it bravely, Rafe, and think before whom you perform and what person you represent.
I warrant you, mistress, if I do it not, for the honor of the city and the credit of my master, let me never hope for freedom.
Oh, 'tis well spoken, i' faith. Now go thy ways. Thou art a spark indeed.
Rafe, double your files bravely, Rafe.
I warrant you, sir.
Let him look narrowly to his service. I shall take him else. I was there myself, a pikeman once, in the honest of the day, wench, that had my feather shot sheer away, the fringe of my pike burnt off with powder, my pate broken with a scouring stick. And yet, I thank God I am here.
Oh, hark, George, the drums.
Ah, ren-ten-ten, ren-ten-ten. Oh, wench, hadst thou been but seen the little Ned of Aldgate, Drum Ned, how he made it roar again, and laid on like a tyrant, and then struck softly till the ward came up, and then thundered again, and together we go, sa, 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 bounce, quoth the guns, courage, my hearts, quoth the captains, St. George, quoth the pikemen, and withal, here they lay and there they lay, and yet for all this I am here, wench.
Be thankful for it, George, for indeed 'tis wonderful.
March fair, my hearts. Lieutenant, beat the rear up. Ancient, let your colors fly. But have a great care of the butcher's hooks at Whitechapel. They have been in the death of many a fair ancient. Open your files that I may take a view of both your persons and munition. Sergeant, call a muster.
A stand! William Hamerton, pewterer.
Yeah, Captain.
A corselet and a Spanish pike. 'Tis well. Can you shake it with a terror?
I hope so, Captain.
Charge upon me. 'Tis with the weakest. Put more strength, William Hamerton, more strength, as you were again. Proceed, Sergeant.
George Green Goose, poulterer.
Let me see your piece, neighbor Green Goose. When was she shot in?
Like you, Master Captain, I made a shot even now, partly to scour her and partly for audacity.
It should seem so, certainly, for her breath is yet inflamed. Besides, there is a main fault in the touch hole. It runneth and stinketh. And I tell you, moreover, and believe it, 10 such touch holes would breed the pox of the army. Get you a feather, neighbor, get you a feather. Sweet oil and paper for your piece may do well enough yet. Where's your powder?
Here.
What in paper? As I am a soldier and a gentleman, it craves a martial court. You ought to die for it. Where's your horn? Answer me that.
And like you, sir, I was oblivious.
It likes me not, it should be so. 'Tis a shame for you, and a scandal to all our neighbors, being a man of worth and estimation, to leave your horn behind you. I am afraid 'twill breed example. But let me tell you no more on't. Stand till I view you all. What's become of the nose of your flask?
Indeed, Law Captain, 'twas blown away with powder.
Put on a new one at the city's charge. Where's the stone of this piece?
The drummer took it out to light tobacco.
'Tis a fault, my friend. Put it in again. You want a nose and you a stone. Sergeant, take a note on't, for I mean to stop it in the pay. Remove and march. Soft and fair gentlemen. Soft and fair gentlemen. Soft and fair. Double and files as you were, faces about. Now, you with the sudden face, keep in there. Look to your match, Sirrah. It will be in your fellow's flask anon. So, make a crescent now, advance your pikes, stand and give ear, gentlemen, countrymen, friends, and my fellow soldiers. I have brought you this day from the shops of security and the counters of content to measure out in these furious fields, honor by the ell, and prowess by the pound. Let it not, oh, let it not, I say, be told hereafter the noble issue of this city fainted, but bear yourselves in this fair action like men, valiant men and free men. Fear not the face of the enemy, nor the noise of the guns, for believe me, brethren, the rude rumbling of a brewer's cart is far more terrible, of which you have daily experience. Neither let the stink of the powder offend you, since a more valiant stink is nightly with you. To a resolved mind, his home is everywhere. I speak not this to take away the hope of your return, for you shall see, I do not doubt it, and that very shortly your loving wives again, and your sweet children, whose care doth bear your company in baskets, remember then whose cause you have in hand. And like a sort of true-born scavengers, scour me this famous realm of enemies. I have no more to say but this. Stand to your tacklings, lads, and show to the world you can as well brandish a sword as shake an apron. St. George and on my heart!
St.
St.
George!
George! St. George!
Oh, 'twas well done, Rafe. I'll send thee a cold cape on a field and a bottle of March beer, and it may be come myself to see thee.
No, the boy hath deceived me much. I did not think it had been in him. He has performed such a matter, wench, that if I live next year, I'll have him captain of the Gallifhoist, or I will what my will.
Yet I thank God, I break not a wrinkle more than I had, not a stoop, boys. Don't live with cats, I defy thee. My heart is as sound as an oak, and though I want drink to wet my whistle, I can sing. Come no more there, boys, come no more there. For we shall never, whilst we live, come any more there.
God save you, sir.
It's a brave boy. Canst thou sing?
Yes, sir, I can sing, but 'tis not so necessary at this time.
Sing we and chant it. Wise love doth grant it.
Sir, if you knew what I have brought you, you would have little this to sing.
Oh, the linen round, full long I have thee sought, and now I have thee found. And what hast thou here brought?
A coffin, sir, and your dead son Jasper in it.
Dead? Why, farewell he. Thou wast a bonny boy, and I did love thee.
Huh. Well, then I pray you, sir, do so still.
Jasper's ghost, thou art welcome from Stygian lake so soon. Declare to me what wondrous things in Pluto's court are done.
By my troth, sir, I ne'er came there. 'Tis too hot for me, sir.
A merry ghost, a very merry ghost. And where's your true love? And where is yours?
Oh, Mary, look you, sir.
What a good at that faith. With hey tricksy terrorists in whiskin. The world it runs on wheels. When the young man's up goes the maiden's heels.
Why, Mr. Merithot, will you sin? What do you think will become of us?
What voice is that call us at the door?
You know me well enough. I'm sure I've not been a stranger to you.
And some they whistled, and some they sung. Hey, down, down, and some did loudly say, ever as the Lord bullets on blew, away, Musgrave, away.
You will not have us starve here, will you, Master Merithot?
Oh, nay, good sir, be persuaded. She is my mother. If her offenses have been great against you, let your own love remember she is yours, and so forgive her.
Good Master Merithought, let me entreat you. I will not be denied.
Why, Master Merithot, will you be vexing still?
Woman, I take you to my love again. But you shall sing before you enter, therefore dispatch your song and so come in.
Well, you must have your will when all's done. Me, what song canst thou sing, boy?
I can sing none
Can you sing?
forsooth. I can sing none forsooth, but a lady's daughter of Paris properly. It was a lady's daughter of Paris, and such.
You're welcome home again, if such danger be in playing, and just must to earnest turn, you shall go no more a-maying.
Are you within? Master Merithought?
Oh, it's my master's voice. Oh, good sir, go hold him in talk whilst we convey ourselves into some inward room.
What are you? Are you merry? You must be very merry if you enter.
I am, sir.
Sing then.
Nay, good sir, open to me.
Sing, I say, or by the merry heart you come not in.
Fortune, my fool, why dost thou frown on me?
You are welcome, sir. You are welcome. You see your entertainment. Pray you be merry.
More. Master Merithought, I come to ask you forgiveness for the wrongs I offered you and your most virtuous son. They're infinite. Yet my contrition shall be more than they. I do confess my hardness broke his heart, for which just heaven hath given punishment more than my age can carry. His wandering spirit, not yet at rest, pursues me everywhere, crying, I'll haunt thee for thy cruelty. My daughter, she's gone. I know not how, taken invisible, and whether living or in grave, 'tis yet uncertain to me. Oh, Master Merithought, these are the weights will sink me to my grave. Forgive me, sir.
My sir, I do forgive you. And be merry. And if the wag in life's time play the knave, can you forgive him too?
With all my heart, sir.
Speak it again and heartily.
I do, sir. Well, by my soul, I do.
With that came out his paramour. She was as white as a lily flower. Hey, true trolley lolly. With that came out her own dear knight. He was as true as e'er did fight. Hey, true trolley lolly. Sir, if you will forgive them, clap their hands together. There's no more to be said in the matter.
I do. I do.
I do not like this. Peace, boys. Hear me, one of you. Everybody's part has come to an end but Rafe's, and he is left out.
'Tis long of yourself, sir. We have nothing to do with his part.
Rafe, come away. Make at him as you have done of the rest. Boys, come.
Now, good husband, let him come out and die.
He shall, Nell. Rafe, come away quickly and die, boy.
'Twill be very unfit he should die, sir. Upon no occasion, and in a comedy too.
Take you no care for that, sir boy. Is not his part at an end, think you? And when he's dead? Come away, boy. Come away, Rafe.
Enter Rafe with a forked arrow through his head.
When I was mortal, and this my costive core did lap up figs and raisins in the strand, where sitting I espied a lovely dame, whose master wrought with lingle and with awl, and underground he vampied many a boot. Straight did her love prick forth me, tender sprig, to follow feats of arms in warlike wise, through Walsham desert, where I did perform many achievements, and did lay on ground huge Barbarasso, that insulting giant, and all his captives soon set at liberty. Then honor pricked me from my native soil into Moldavia, where I gained the love of Pompeiana, his beloved daughter, but yet proved constant to the black-thumbed maid, Susan, and scorned Pompeiana's love. Yet liberal I was, and gave her pins and money for her father's officers. I then returned home and thrust myself in action, and by all men chosen was Lord of the May, where I did flourish it with scarfs and rings and poesy in my hand. After this action, I preferred was, and chosen city captain at Milan, with hat and feather and with leading staff, and trained my men, and brought them all off clear, save one man, that bewrayed him with the noise. But all these things I, Rafe, did undertake, only for my beloved Susan's sake. Then coming home and sitting in my shop with apron blue, death came unto my stall to cheapen aquavitae. But ere I could take the bottle down and fill a taste, death caught a proud of pepper in his hand, and sprinkled all my face and body o'er, and in an instant vanished away.
'Tis a pretty fiction, i' faith.
Then I took up my bow and shaft in hand, and walked into Moorfields to cool myself. But there grim cruel death met me again, and shot this forked arrow through my head. And now I faint. Therefore, be warned by me, my fellows, every one of forked heads. Farewell, all you good boys in merry London. Ne'er shall we more upon Shrove Tuesday meet, and pluck down houses of iniquity. My pain increaseth. I shall never more hold open whilst another pumps both legs, nor daub a satin gown with rotten eggs. Set up a stake, oh, nevermore. I die. Fly, fly, my soul to grocer's hall.
Oh, well said, Rafe. Do your obeisance to the gentleman and go your ways. Oh, well said, Rafe.
Methinks all we, thus kindly and unexpectedly reconciled, should not part without a song.
A good motion.
Speak up then. Better music ne'er was known than a choir of hearts in one. That other that hath been troubled with a gallus spleen, learn of us to keep his brow smooth and plain as ours are now. Sing, though before the hour of dying, he shall rise and then be crying, Table, 'tis not but mirth that keeps the body from the earth.
Come now, shall we go? The play's done.
Nay, by my faith, George, I have more manners than so. I'll speak to these gentlemen first. I thank you all, gentlemen, for your patience and countenance to Rafe, a poor fatherless child. And if I may see you at my house, it should go hard, but I would have a pottle of wine and a pipe of tobacco for you, for truly I hope you do like the youth, but I would gladly know the truth. I refer it to your own discretions, whether you will applaud him or no, for I will wink, and whilst you shall do what you will, I thank you with all my heart. God give you good night. Come, George.
Yay!
Yes.
Bravo, everybody.
Well
Thank you,
done.
James.
Tough conditions
Fun
today.
play.
I don't know. And maybe it's because so many people at the holiday and so many people are online. I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah, this was well done. And there's so many things. I mean, also about the dangers of tobacco in here as well.
Yeah.
They knew, you see, even back then. They knew.
Even back then, when it was the new innovation that Sir Walter Raleigh brought from the New World.
I'm
This
sure.
is
Yeah,
such
look
a
what he did for
wholesome
him.
play. It's like, it reminds me of like a Renaissance festival. Like you know, people. It was mentioned before that like people might not get the references, but like it kind of makes it like novel for audiences today to be like transported to a different time. Yeah, it's so cool, and like it's such a great set of stories, like Canterbury Tales kind of style. I don't know, it's just I like
I'm
it.
sure there's a lot of references that the audiences of the day would have gotten, but if you just have fun with it, it's still going to be, you know, a fun piece.
It was
A lot of
torturous
more
not to feel the freedom to actually go for it with the Sorcerer's Stone reference.
There you go.
Yeah.
We know more than you think. Yeah.
Yeah, there are more things, that are still with us. I've also promoted all of our attendees to panelists. Thank you so much for coming and for listening to this. And if you have any questions or comments on it, we're happy to hear that. And thank you all so much. I mean, I think there is a lot of fun thing, and I mean, it's just sort of delightful. I mean, old Mary thought like making everybody sing to come into his house.
Hey everyone, I have a question. Hello?
Hey Ben,
Hi.
we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, guys. Very silly to listen to in Central Park as I walk around. I just have one question. Alex, did you have a line about something like fly phoebus phlebotomy? What was that?
Yeah, fly Venus and phlebotomist? I think.
Who the hell is that the patron saint of people who draw blood? What is that?
I have no idea. I just said
He did his
You
research.
didn't do your homework?
I did not do my homework. I didn't even read the play yet. Actually,
I could have spent 5 days looking up all these references, but I just didn't have time.
I have my new favorite line for the month.
Which
Horse
is?
her away. I thought it's such a great line. Horse her away.
Rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying this. You guys don't really sing.
Oh yeah, Paul, I've never heard you sing.
For good reason. Yeah. So that's yeah. No, and etc. It's
Oh,
like
God.
yes, it's sort of like to go on for a verse. There is a lot of singing in this play, and but that was fun.
Well,
Yeah.
they were choristers.
I should qualify.
The first performers were actual choristers.
I should
That's why there's
qualify
so
that
much
Mary
music in
does
it.
sing, just so you all know. We've
Yeah.
done many a piece together.
hmm Yeah. Well, and I mean,
So much physical business that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it would be delicious if it were staged.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's such a great like theatrical piece, like for the physical stuff and for like the props and everything. But also it's like an event for the audience, like to like draw them in.
It worked great as a radio play. I was running around the city doing errands. I left for a while to go to the Verizon store, but to hear it is actually better, I found, than when I was in my office and watching you guys, because the Zoom screens is so so unsatisfying. What a great idea for a radio play. If we get, if theaters don't open soon, you guys should put this on in a radio format with somebody announcing all the silliness.
It's a good point too, because it's a lot of descriptive imagery, so it gives you the yeah definitely.
What is amazing was that the play was written in 8 days.
Oh my God.
Was it written by Rossini?
No, just the overture was written by Rossini.
So Stephen, when you did this with years ago, what role did you play?
I was one of the boys. I mean, I was 12. I can't remember. I can't remember which. The irony was I was sort of following along with the script. This is the script I actually had 58 years ago, and I was trying to work out which boy I was, because I never marked the script back then, which shows you how many lines I had.
David, it would seem to be time for that line from GNS.
Which one? Sorry.
It would be probably time to insert that line from GNS.
What line?
We were boys together.
Oh, we were boys together. At least I was, yes.
Right.
Long play. I didn't expect you'd still be on when I got finished with Verizon.
We cut it. When we did it, we cut it. Things like the whole making speech went.
Yeah, I left an hour ago. I'm not really here.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't do the whole Moldavia scene, and we didn't do because I in my script I did mark all the cuts, and we actually cut. We thinned it out and we cut complete scenes.
Well, obviously, there are some very long speeches in it.
But it was, it was a high school production.
God, I'd love to have seen you in high school.
So would I now.
Yeah, well, it is interesting to sort of think that this was done at the Blackfriars by the Boys Company, and there are a fair amount of sort of sexual innuendo jokes in it. I mean, even to the burning pestle. Which,
well, the interesting thing is that one of the things that I did note in the script we got is what we know where George keeps calling Nell Cunny, and we changed it to Coney.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, it's spelled different. I mean, I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be because it's spelled different ways. So.
Well, Little Rabbit, Coney.
Coney.
And she, what is it? You call her, a little rabbit, and she calls you a lamb.
Ah. Okay.
I'm a Yank from a bereft culture. Can you explain how that's dirty?
You'd have to ask a psychiatrist.
Well, next week something completely different.
Yes, next week is Lysistrata. We won't have a Thursday reading since Thursday is Thanksgiving, but hope everyone has a good one and a safe one. And
you too.
You too.
Thank
you, Paul.
I'm warming up my traditional Thanksgiving. I'm warming up my traditional Thanksgiving sushi.
Sounds good.
I got to move. I'm in a cold spot here. So you guys later. That was great.
All right. Thanks. Thank you
Hi,
for
Ben.
joining us. Yes.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you to all
I
of
don't
our
know. My script actually has, which I'd like to share, I think, is a poem that was the the first folio of the works of Beaumont and Fletcher, and the little sextain goes, whether one did contrive, the other write, or one framed the plot, the other did indict, whether one found the matter, the other dress, or one disposed what the other did express. Where'er your parts between yourselves lay, we in all things which you did but one thread see. And that's from the first folio of the complete works of Beaumont and Fletcher.
Not as famous as that other first folio. You know, by what's his name?
I believe it's sold better.
Silliest folio.
So fame, shmame, who cares back then?
Yeah, well, this was also, it was published in a quarto as well. And although apparently it wasn't successful when it was first produced, but it then became one that was very popular and played a lot because it is kind of also, I mean, just the fun of the audience saying, no, wait, I want to see this show. I want these things in it, and just sort of putting it together. And the poor boy is trying to like say, well, we're just trying to get through our plot.
Well, I think you could well imagine when they actually did this originally, that other people in the audience would also chime in.
Yeah. And it's very sort of Monty Python-esque in some ways. It's just so silly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's perfect farce. I mean, there really is a noises off quality to it. There's the entrances and the exits and the different plots going on.
Yeah.
Probably a director's dream too. Really.
Yeah. And but it is also, I've noticed with some of these comedies, like when we did a reading of Volpone, I mean that these comedies they could be really as long as some of Shakespeare's tragedies. You know?
Volpone is incredibly long. I did it once, and I have to say, we did it with Paul Schofield and Ben Kingsley and Gielgud, and it lasted 4¼ hours.
Which one? I'm sorry.
It lasted 4¼ hours.
Volpone.
Volpone.
Oh, Volpone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Peter Hall gave it a big operatic production, which worked against it. But I mean, it was just.
You stage managed it?
Boring.
Paul has promised me Bartholomew Fair, and that, believe me, is I've actually could take a couple cuts in it because it really goes on forever.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
it's very.
I've asked Paul about the possibility of doing Epicene, which in fact was another play that was done by the same group of boys that did Night of the Burning Pestle.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Epicene. Ben Jonson.
Oh, Epicene. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I do.
Well, you probably know it by its alternate title, which is The Silent Woman.
Yeah.
I don't know that much Ben Jonson, I'm afraid. The Alchemist and Volpone, I think, is most of what I've.
And Sejanus.
But we did do.
Oh, I've heard of that. Of course, I haven't.
We did read Volpone a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But that it was like these comedies, but that people also, I mean, you have to realize that people were used to going to church and listening to 2-hour sermons.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
They had less places to go, and they were more patient with just listening to words. So.
Now we go to church for sermons that seem to last 2 hours.
Yeah, and also rather famous. I mean, the with Rafe with a forked arrow through his head. I mean, the old sort of like from what Steve Martin did. It's like, yeah, it was popular 400 years before that. So
Joseph Schmidt probably stole from this.
I hate to say it, but when it comes to Volpone, I prefer the new version, Sly Fox, which is a hilarious play. Absolutely.
The original was just great.
Yeah.
That was what, George C.
Scott? Throw the book at you. Matter of fact, I will throw the book at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Larry Gelbart, right? And
well, actually, it was the original on Broadway was Robert Preston, wasn't it?
That was George C. Scott.
George C. Scott, yeah.
He left it and Robert Preston took it over.
Okay.
I saw Preston do it, actually.
Yes, I believe I did too. And also Jack Guilford and was Jeffrey Tambor in that?
No, George C. Scott, Bob Dishy, Hector Elizondo, Jack Gifford, and Gretchen Weiler.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it was directed by Arthur Penn.
She was in it also.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
What
Well,
was the Guilford line from it? Was it I think I just shat? It was something like that.
Oh, yeah, no, in the middle, yeah, no, in the middle of the trial scene when his son is getting in trouble or whatever it is, or he's going to have to fork over some money. Jack Guilford had the line, "I just shat." It's just, you know, like this stingy moneylender character.
yeah. It is interesting that Larry Gelbart also did a Power Plays, which was sort of an adaptation of La Ronde as well, which I think I don't think it got a New York production. I mean, of course, I think a lot of people know Larry Gelbart from all of his great sort of TV work, and especially MASH and all that writing. But
a funny thing also, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Say nothing of a funny thing.
Yeah.
To this day remains the funniest evening I ever spent in the theater.
What was?
I saw the original.
Of what?
Yeah.
A funny thing.
I never saw Zero do it.
A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, and there is the film of it, but it's not a very good film, unfortunately.
Lester, with all his camera tricks, just loused it up, frankly.
Yeah.
Just let them do it, you know.
I saw a funny thing in the remains of the Roman theatre in Chester, which was the ideal location. Except it was bloody cold. Anyway,
yes. Well, next week we will be with the Greeks with Lysistrata, and then I'll be in touch with you all in terms of what's coming up in December and planning ahead. And and especially welcome to Michael and Lawrence. I think these are the first instant Shakespeare readings you've done. So thank you for joining.
Michael actually did a couple of live ones.
Oh, you did?
When I was young.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is more than 20 years now we've been doing them. So thanks for joining us online.
Oh, well, you're very welcome, and thank you for having me. I can't speak for Larry. He's
you can.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for
you know me well enough.